up, Woodward? We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid high.
Fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener! Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
On everybody, welcome to Wake Up Woodward live on the Woodward Sports Network. We got a Tuesday show for you guys. It's absolutely jam-packed. I am Flannel Sam. Kool-Aid will be here in just a minute. We've got KG in the audio booth. We've got Chase in the chair, and we've got JB Smooth in the TD booth. And just as I am talking, Kool-Aid has entered the building, so he will be joining us in just a second or two. We've got a lot to talk about. We got some Lions news. We're going to talk a little Detroit Tigers. They made a signing.
Yuck.
Maybe not as impactful as a lot of us would have liked, but I think it's certainly a piece that can help the Tigers moving forward. More on that later. We've got our top 10 Tuesday, and I'm sure there will be no disagreement with my list. That's a shock. I mean, that's not going to happen because everyone always disagrees with my list, but it's okay. It creates some really, really good conversations, that is for sure. But first, we have to talk about the Detroit Red Wings. And when it comes to the Detroit Red Wings, it's the classic case of, as the, I believe the Tale of Two Cities opens up with, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And last night, the Red Wings did get a win over the Buffalo Sabres, 6-5 in a shootout, which stopped a 5-game losing streak, which in and of itself, having a 5-game losing streak, that is beyond unacceptable. But they halted it. And if you want some good news from last night's game, the Red Wings outshot Buffalo 31-21. You love to see that. They were 100% on the penalty kill, including killing off a penalty to end regulation. When Buffalo drew that power play, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was over. But you know what? The Red Wings killed it. You love to see it. You saw them fall down 5-3 in the second period going into the third period, and they were able to come back, which was culminated by a game-tying goal by Mo Sider, which you love to see, and they were able to win in the shootout. And hey, if you want some more good news, the Red Wings scored 5 5-on-5 goals, which is something I didn't think that I'd be able to say at all this year, because 5-on-5, they've been one of the worst teams in the league, but they got it done last night. You saw Andrew Kopp with a couple of goals, Raymond with one, DeBrincat with one, and Sider with the game tying goal. But the most important thing to come out of last night was Sebastian Cossa made his NHL debut, and they threw him right into the fire, which is in a lot of ways, that's exactly how you got to learn. Just trial by fire. Ville Husso had another terrible performance. Credit to him, he played well the last three, but for the most part, terrible performances and Ville Husso go together like peanut butter and jelly, like the worst peanut butter and jelly you'd ever want to eat, but still, it's really been par for the course. And Ville Husso, he came in with the score tied at 3. He let in a couple in the second period, but he did shut out Buffalo in the third period. The defense played really well as well, kind of insulated him a bit. He didn't give up a goal in overtime, and in his NHL debut had to face the gauntlet of a shootout, which is just mano-a-mano, and he came through, and the Red Wings were able to take it home with a victory over the Buffalo Sabres. And sometimes you just got to take wins any way that you can get them. I feel like I've said this many, many times. Hopefully this starts a bit of a turnaround, because even though they stink right now, they're not that far out of a playoff spot, but it feels like every single time I say this, it doesn't really turn into much except maybe a 2-game winning streak or a win, loss, win. It's just, the reality is last night was good, but the Red Wings are still not a good hockey team. And Chase, how did you feel about last night's game?
I mean, I was pretty happy with the result. They fought hard, came back down 2 goals in the third period to equal it out. And, I think they just passed Buffalo in the standings technically.
There we go.
So happy about that. The way they fought immediately in the second period, scoring within 60 to 90 seconds with Cossa in net, seemed like they just turned the page. Obviously, they let up 2 goals and went down, but they still fought back. And I mean, hopefully we can see a little bit more Kosa. We've got a next 6-game stretch of some pretty winnable games. So, hopefully we can keep the gears rolling and keep scoring goals.
Yeah, gotta win, gotta go on a bit of a run in these next 6 games. I'd like to see them at least get 8 points, ideally more, but the good news is the bottom of the East is not very good. So the Red Wings, they're not out of it, even though they're not a good team right now. But they were staring down the barrel of a 6-game losing streak, down 5-3 in the third period, and they had to do something. They had to come back, and they had to get it done, and they did. And, of course, every Red Wings fan, everybody in this room was on pins and needles waiting to see what Sebastian Kosa had. And, I mean, an .857 save percentage is not a good save percentage, but he was thrown into the fire. He did enough when he needed to in order for the Red Wings offense to come alive in the third period. And then, of course, the shootout, that's always just... I mean, that's a tough situation for even the best goalies in the league, let alone for somebody making their NHL debut. So the bottom line is the Red Wings are still not good. The Red Wings, there's still a lot of questions about them, and that is to put it very mildly, but they did get a win last night when they desperately needed it. And hopefully, I'm not holding my breath, though. This is the type of win where we look back and be like, hey, they saved the season, they righted the ship, and hopefully they can take home a playoff spot, although they have a lot of work to do.
And you know what, man? Dylan Larkin, though, what a move last night to put that game away in the shootout. It was almost something of like Pavel Datsyuk, the Magic Man. It was Datsyukian, definitely. And to see them get a win like that, I want to ask you, how do they sustain this type of stuff? How do they kind of take whatever the Magic is and go on some type of a run? Because you're right, at the bottom of the East, they have an opportunity to be able to make a run and find themselves at least within the wild card contention. Yeah. Coming into the season, we thought that, especially early on, they had an opportunity to solidify themselves in one of those just top playoff spots, which is what I was hoping for. Red Wings in a top playoff spot, and the Pistons hopefully competing for a play-in. What are the Red Wings, where are they at right now? Because I know there was some talk about Lalonde, and every time the talk is like, if he loses this one, that's it. They wind up winning that. Maybe we need to say that every game.
Well, I'll say this. Derek Lalonde could easily still be fired. I mean, because that was a nice win last night, but they were still on a 5-game losing streak, and they were pretty fortunate to pull that one out, although you never apologize for a win in professional sports, no matter what. I mean, last night you saw them do a couple of things that they have not done all season. I mean, they were 100% on the penalty kill, and so far this year, even with last night, they're the second worst penalty kill team in the entire NHL, and that is just absolutely unacceptable. You can't have it. And as Darren McCarty always says, if you don't believe me, believe Darren McCarty, penalty kill is about effort. If you want a tangible thing you can look at to where the coaching isn't up to par, I would say the fact that the Red Wings penalty kill is so bad, that has something to do with it. And also last night, you saw the Red Wings get 5 5-on-5 goals. This season, they're 6th worst still, despite last night in goals scored per game, but they're 9th best in power play percentage. What that tells you and what you see is that 5-on-5, even though last night it was good, it's still been fairly morbid this year, so they need to continue to be better with the penalty kill, be better with 5-on-5. I mean, think about this. Lucas Raymond is giving you 30 points in 28 games, which is a fantastic season, all-star level. He's really lived up to that contract. If you would have told me that Lucas Raymond is giving you 30 points in 28 games, but that the Red Wings were 6th worst in goals scored per game, I would have said put the crack pipe down. But that's exactly, no, seriously, that's exactly what they are, though, because another thing you need from the Red Wings is more depth scoring. Both Vladimir Tarasenko and Patrick Kane are giving you less than a half a point per game. That's not acceptable. I know that they're a little over the hill and obviously not in their prime, but you brought Patrick Kane back based on what he did for the Red Wings last year. You brought in Vladimir Tarasenko because you thought he had something still in the tank. If they both finish the season with like 36, 37 points, that's terrible. I mean, I'm not saying it's all their fault, but that's not acceptable. That's not something any Red Wing fan would have accepted before the season. Same with Kopp, same with Comfer, both less than a half a point per game. Rasmussen and Kasper have less than a third a point per game, and Jonathan Berggren has less than a fourth a point per game. Not saying that everything is their fault, not saying that all of those players haven't made contributions at times, particularly Andrew Kopp last night, but when you're 28 games in, when your scoring is not up to par, when when you're under 500, when you're one of the worst teams in the East statistically, you got to look at that stuff. At some point, you are what your record says you are, and you are what your numbers say you are when you're a third of the way through the season.
And you know what, man? You're preaching there, especially when we think about the Detroit Pistons, who I liked a lot of the things that Troy Weaver was saying, but that organization did not have their priorities in order. And then all of a sudden, you see Trajan Langdon come in. He's given this ability to have a singular voice, a singular vision, and everybody else marches to honestly the beat of his drum. And JB Bickerstaff has come in and brought up a process to this young team in which now we can see. Even though they might not be where we want them to be right now, we can see, you know what, this team is trending in the right direction. We see that they're in the thick of things as it relates to play-in spots. We see that they're in a position to where they realistically should be a little bit better. But we already know that where they're coming from versus where they're going versus where they were, it's night and day. And a lot of it has to do with the foundation that the coaches and the front office have set for these players, as well as the work that they are doing as well. Hey, shout out to Woodward Avenue, man. Wake up, Woodward, right?
At Wake Up Woodward. Absolutely. And Kiazi in the chat, stop avoiding the elephant in the room. It's Derek Lalonde. Hey, if they fired Derek Lalonde today, I would be like, okay.
I don't think
cool.
You have not avoided that elephant at all. That's one that you continue to eat piece by piece by piece. Like, look, this is it. You even said it. Like, I think he can still be fired. Like, this team is not. They're not performing up to where the casuals like myself believe they can be, or where the puck knowers like you, Chase, that dude Justin have consistently stated, and Spinney and D-Mac have stated they can be. Even D-Mac has gotten to a point where he's had to talk about certain things that in times past he was a little bit more patient on. And I do believe it's because this team has talent, just like we can see with these Pistons. We posted something about the squad yesterday being 10 and 11 since starting 0-4. And you know what about 80 or 90% of the posts had to do with? Either mentioning JB Bickerstaff or either mentioning Monty Williams. And you can tell which ones are going to be more positive themed and which ones are going to be like burn it all down. People were like, yo, how did Monty mismanage this talent? Yo, JB Bickerstaff, great job on you, coach. And that's where I'm starting to get with, at least as a casual, with the Red Wings. From everything I'm hearing, from everything I'm seeing, from what I do know about hockey and the players that we do have here, I'm like, are they being a little bit mismanaged right now? Are they being put in their best possible spot to succeed? Is the processes and the instructions that this coach is bringing to the table for these young players, these developing stars, because some of these guys are now being asked to be stars, is he putting them in their best spot to succeed?
I would say no. As a whole, I think there's definitely some things that you could change in terms of the lines you saw last night. Kopp, Comfer, and Tarasenko in the second line. They actually played well. It's just, you can certainly say that. No question about it. I'd like to see, in theory, I'd like to see more of Michael Rasmussen. But at the same time, I mentioned it earlier, there is not one depth piece on their entire offense or the entire defense that's really playing well. Not one. So you can look at it as Lalonde has mismanaged a lot of the talent, but you can also look at it as there's just some guys who are not playing up to their standard. I mean, we have to have the washed alert about Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko, and that's not a bad thing. All due respect to them. Patrick Kane is the greatest American-born hockey player ever, and Tarasenko, he could be a Hall of Famer as well, but they're both in their late 30s, and they're not playing well.
BD3 Thought Criminal says, I knew Kane was a dumb signing.
I mean,
I wouldn't say dumb necessarily, but I understand.
Yeah.
I understand the sentiment.
Yeah, I was happy about the signing because I saw what he did last year. I thought that, I mean, in terms of a veteran piece who still you thought had something in the tank and who has played more big games than pretty much anyone in the National Hockey League right now, Patrick Kane was a good signing at the time, but he's not played even up to this version of Patrick Kane standards.
Hey, you know what? I've been saying I want to be able to have a question to start off these breaks.
Yeah.
And I know yesterday we had one who was crashing out more, and Packers fans, they ran away with this. Chase, just real quick, who's crashing out worse to you? Packers fans after getting swept by the Lions, or the Yankees fans after losing out on Soto?
I'd probably say the Yankees fans. Just like I've been seeing those like more recently.
It's been crazy with them.
I mean, for a guy that, how long did he play there? Like a full season? Didn't he get traded?
He played one full season.
One full season?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
wow.
Like he wasn't there that long. So I don't see why they got so upset. I mean,
I
obviously,
mean,
like
he's
he
a
went
top 3
across
player in
town,
baseball.
but-
That's why they got so upset.
I mean, that's the thing. He went to the Mets. The Yankees actually made the World Series with Soto there because not only have they even been to a World Series since 2009? I don't think they have.
Who, the Yankees?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I know they haven't won one since 2009, but the point is that
They always get bounced in the playoffs.
They had so many flameouts in even the American League playoffs, particularly usually to the Astros. And with Juan Soto, they at least made it. And I think personally, I'm a Juan Soto simp. I think he is the single greatest hitter I've ever seen with my own eyes. And I think the Mets got themselves, even though it's the most expensive contract in MLB history, they are a instant favorite in the NL to me.
Hey, and you know what? This will be the question for today from Chuck Brewer. He says, Kool-Aid, Patricia or Monty Williams? Worst Detroit head coach of our lifetime.
Monty Williams. No. I know that's hard. Patricia's awful.
If we didn't have Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, Patricia would have set us back 5 years easily. So I don't know, man. Monty, it was a one and done. I do get it. It was pretty bad. We all know it was bad. But those 3 years of Patricia, if we could have got somebody else in that seat, then maybe the Lions would be, maybe they would have had their Super Bowl.
You know what? I changed my mind. I have officially changed my mind because those Lions teams, and we're seeing it now, they had talent.
They came off winning seasons.
Yeah.
Goodness. He was such a bad coach.
Say what you want about Caldwell.
He
We had winning
basically
seasons under
drove
Caldwell.
out Glover Quinn and Darius Slay and all of it's Patricia. It's Patricia. My bad.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Patricia took a solid
there.
team and drove him in the
You know
ground.
what? Yeah. I was going to say on the other side of the break,
you're right.
and I was still
You're right.
Ash Chase on the other side of the break as well as JB Smooth. Let you guys deliberate. We got to talk about Jared Goff, too, on the other side of in the next segment. Because that is an interesting one. If we can get that poll up, that'll be our question of the day. Who was the worst head coach? And put an other. We don't even have to frame it necessarily to our lifetime, but come on, guys, don't go back into like the early 80s, whatever, or before. I mean, like the 1800s. Like let's keep this thing within some reasonability. But you want to know where the best pregame Lions party is every home game? Join us now at Detroit's very own Second Best Bar. Located at 42 Watson Street, it's the ultimate fan experience. You get to enjoy a little smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show. Only at Second Best Bar. Come get some.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Are you overdue for a new car? Beat the holiday rush and get an amazing deal from Les Stanford Chevrolet. Right now, a Blazer EV2LT with all-wheel drive is only $149 per month. Or check out the Equinox EV LT for only $169 per month. Get to Les Stanford today or click on the QR code on the screen and check out our massive inventory. Don't forget Les Stanford has Cadillac, Buick, and GMC as well. Les Stanford in Dearborn and Ferndale, lesstanford.com.
What up, though, people, man? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for kicking off today with the WUW Crew. Hey, man, got the squad in the building, and also shout out to our brother Matthew Broder and that dude Justin. And look, we're gonna tee this question up real quick before we get into Jared Goff and where he's at in this MVP conversation, because we're seeing some insane performances by Saquon Barkley, by Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and others. Some of them aren't necessarily winning, which might have a lot to do with where this race ultimately shakes out. And I think it's right now a three-headed race right now. But that question one more time: who is the worst head coach in Detroit history? And we'll frame it in just a little bit to our lifetime. Matt Patricia, Monty Williams. This was sent in by Chuck Brewer. And we put in the chat, or other. Were there any others that came to mind when you talk about the worst? Like, as you've got some time to let this marinate.
I'm just saying.
Wait, your KG's Black Hollywood over there looking at me like you've seen some horror.
The Pistons that had some bad coaches. Hold on. Do we remember John Custer? Do we remember Maurice Cheeks? Mo Cheeks, man. Oh my God. Of course, Rod Marinelli, you got to throw him in there. Oh, but man. Yeah, it's been tough. We had a lot of bad coaches.
Mo Cheeks, man. What up, Chase? I see you over there smiling a little bit.
Yeah, my parents came home with me. I think I was maybe a freshman or a sophomore in high school. We just hired Mo Cheeks, Pistons coach, and they came home with a pet turtle for me. And I was like, I'm just gonna name it Cheeks for Mo Cheeks.
I before he was coach here, I was like, yo.
No, I was happy when we got him. I was happy when we got him.
Yeah, had his basketball card. I thought he had a good reputation around the league. Remember he helped that little girl sing the national anthem who was messing up? I was like, man, we're getting a humanitarian. And then he got here, and it was like, oh my God, send this man away.
What a time.
He still, though, he's still a respected man in NBA circles, though. But we talk about John Custer.
Right. Where the hell did he come from?
I don't even. Has anybody seen him since? We were talking about it on the break. He's an AI creation.
Did anyone see him before?
No, well, I'm glad you asked, because John Custer, his previous head coaching job, and I'm not kidding you, was at George Washington University from 1985 to 1990. That was 20 years before he got hired by the Pistons. And his record at George Washington in 5 seasons, 50-94.
Why would you hire this man?
I mean, he was an assistant at some place. He was an assistant with a bunch of teams in between.
When was he hired to be the Pistons coach?
2009.
Okay, so this was before Tom
Custer
Gores.
was, I think, interim. I think he got the job initially as an interim coach, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, did
I
he?
believe. I hope, man.
I hope, yeah.
I feel like that's what I remember from that time frame, but
Jesus,
goodness gracious, man! I know the Lions. They had a couple that we named, and the Tigers. Did they have any that should be mentioned?
Brad Ausmus.
Yeah, it's only one that you really looking at, and it's Mr. Brad Ausmus. He took a Corvette and drove it into a wall.
You know what? Ryan said, "Shout out Lawrence Frank."
Lawrence Frank.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Shit. Wow.
The away fan Jeff Blaswell by a mile. Weezy D313, Brad Ausmus over Monty and Patricia. Freddie felt 3-3. Mo Cheeks was Cheeks.
He was bad.
I don't know why, but I can hear Freddie's voice saying that. It's hilarious.
Straight Cheeks.
Yo,
what's the word on Mike Babcock? Because I know he wasn't well liked amongst players and a lot of people.
Babcock doesn't deserve to be in this conversation.
He doesn't.
No.
Okay.
No.
Terrell Lamar says Van Dummy. Stan Van Gundy. The reason why
he got us to a playoff though. That's the only thing I'll argue.
But listen, then if we're going to give him that, Michael Curry was a horrible coach, but we will erase that from history because we got a ring with him.
You did.
We'll erase that from history, just like Joe Dumars dismantling the 04 Pistons.
Oh, my
we'll
God.
erase that from history. But Goodness, you know what? That was good exercise.
That was a
Anybody
good
else?
I think we're good. I think we actually can go to a break because that was. Hey, you know what? That actually took up more time than we thought that it would. But it's a good conversation. People are engaged in the chat. We
This is
see.
back on time.
Thank you, Easy, for always being active in our chat as well. I see you enjoy this one too. But JB, tell us about New Holland and
I
Birch.
forgot about Lawrence Frank.
Oh, after you guys mentioning these names, I think I definitely need a drink. Jeez.
It's been bad, man.
It's been pretty
these
rough
guys
out
to the
here.
moon, huh?
It's been pretty rough out here. Send all these guys that fell straight to the moon, and you can send them with the case of New Holland Brewing Company's Tangerine Space Machine, the easy drinking IPA that is out of this world. It's smooth, it's juicy, with refreshing crushability. Take your taste buds to the moon and grab yourself a can of this intergalactic haze of goodness. It's the official beer of outer space, so it's on tap on the moon. Sponsored by New Holland Brewing Company, straight out of Holland, Michigan, so you can support locally as well too. And while you're doing that, you know what? Why don't you pick up some merch for yourself? Because you know we're dropping new designs every single week for you at woodwardsports.com. All you gotta do is click on that shop tab. Like I said, new designs are up there right now. I just checked the page not too long ago. We got the Kings of Detroit t-shirts up there. We got the grit shirts, and you know we got the whole roster shirts as well too. So head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab, get swagged out.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Get energized for the holidays during the 12 Days of Fitness at Planet Fitness. Now through December 20th, join for $1 down, $15 a month. And recharge this holiday season and beyond in the clean and spacious judgment-free zone, filled with equipment for every workout. Stay motivated with free fitness training and lots more. Celebrate the 12 Days of Fitness at Planet Fitness. Join for $1 down, $15 a month. Hurry! Offer ends December 20th.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
It is Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential, and it's fitness that fits your budget. They got 50+ Metro Detroit locations, no matter where you are. There's a Planet Fitness close by. They've got the cheapest membership, starting at only $15 per month. If you want to get in shape for the holiday season, New Year's, or beach body season, it'll be here before you know it. So why put it off any longer? Get yourself to Planet Fitness. It's affordable, or you could even go slightly more expensive if you're feeling a little, a certain way and get the black card. I don't know why I said a certain way. You can take that any way you want. A black card.
Nasty.
Well, I know how I'm feeling.
That will get you into any of these Metro Detroit locations. You don't just have to stay at your home Planet Fitness. And even if you go traveling, you go to those Planet Fitnesses across the United States as well. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Essential. What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We still got that question active, man, in the poll. And just throughout the show, who is the worst head coach in Detroit? And you know what? Let's expand. Hey, let's bring in the colleges, too. Definitely. Let's start putting them down. I think that would be dope, because there was something that came to mind. Rich Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying?
We throwing college coaches under the bus, too? Yeah, I was about to say Tommy Emiker for sure.
He ruined my Michigan basketball experience as a youth.
Yeah.
Brian Ellerby.
What was it, Harvard, right?
Yeah, he went to Harvard and actually was good. It took them to the tournament. Couldn't take Michigan to the goddamn tournament ever. Not once.
Brady Hope, Rich Rye. I mean, Jesus Christ. Pick your poison with that.
Yep, and don't answer today. Big Con 51 already sent in a good question for tomorrow. Worst GMs. We will get into best GMs, best players, top moments. top trades, worst trades.
I think
all
we
that.
easily know who the worst GM in Detroit sports was.
So we'll go in second on down.
Yeah.
Who's in the pecking order? But you know what? Somebody right now who's at the top of Detroit sports. I see the Wave fan. Jeff Blashill not even mentioned. We did mention Jeff Blashill, but somebody who's kind of probably the king of Detroit sports right now. The quarterback position is the most important spot they say on any football team, and in Detroit, that's been really probably the biggest star in Detroit sports. Right now, that's Jared Goff. He has his team in a position, honestly, to lock up the NFC North and to lock up a number 1 seed and a first-round bye. And people are starting to notice that it's because of what he has going on between the ears, as well as the talent that he is exuding on the field, that has this Detroit Lions team in a position to continue to, overcome all of the losses to both the defensive side and the offensive side of the ball. And Jared Goff finds himself in MVP conversation right now, Flannel Sam.
Oh, he certainly does. And I mentioned it on Friday's show that Jared Goff made an MVP statement, 32 of 41, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, had a fantastic game on a day in which the run game wasn't even really working that well for the Lions. Jared Goff kind of carried the offense. I don't even say kind of. I think you could say in that game that he did. He made an MVP statement. Unfortunately, though, so did a couple of other guys. Saquon Barkley ran for 124 yards on 20 carries. He did not get into the end zone, but I think what Saquon Barkley needs to do in order to stay in the MVP conversation is he has to keep getting these big games so that he can threaten Eric Dickerson's record. If he breaks Eric Dickerson's record of 2,105 yards and the Eagles finish 15-2, how could you not give him some consideration? Hell, that might even be enough for him to win it. And of course, Josh Allen, even in a losing effort, was the first player in NFL history to have 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns in the same game. It's just that ridiculous. Buffalo Bills defense couldn't stop a nosebleed either towards the end of the game. So all 3 of them made an MVP statement. As you can see, Josh Allen with absolutely stupid numbers against the Los Angeles Rams, which actually, hey, and speaking of the Buffalo Bills, that defense looks mighty vulnerable. More on that later in the week. But Jared Goff is certainly in the conversation. And what I want to do right now is I want to present the Flannel Sam MVP ballot, and I want to get reaction from everybody in the room. So JB Smoove, if you've got the ballot, put it on up.
Let's go.
I've got Josh Allen 1, Jared Goff 2, and Saquon Barkley at 3. Does anybody have issues with this? I'm curious.
I'm actually surprised. I thought that you were going to have him 3. I believe that is proper placement right now for Jared Goff. What Josh Allen is doing right now is special, both through the air, on the ground, that leader. Everything we love about Jared Goff, I'd be hypocritical if I sat here right now and didn't tip the cap to Josh Allen, who's doing these things at an even better level. And Saquon Barkley, for what he's doing for Philly, he deserves to be in this top 3. But I just believe Jared Goff for everything they're having to do to hurdle this thing. We needed the points. The offense went out there and got us the points against the Packers. We know we can trust in this team to do that. They're overcoming a lot right now. And I do believe that Jared Goff has a lot to do with that.
Absolutely.
It's a good list.
And the best part about this list is a lot can be settled on the field on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
That is for damn sure. KG, do you have any issues with this list?
No arguments from me at all. This is exactly how I would have it at this point. To me, Saquon, he's having an amazing year at the running back position, but they do not use him. Well, I won't say they don't use him at the goal line, but he seems to have trouble getting in the end zone sometimes. So if he scores more touchdowns, he'd probably be a little bit higher in this list. We all know what Jared Goff do. I mean, it's Jared Goff. But Josh Allen, I'm not going to lie to you. If he had won this past game with the performance that he had, he may have sewn it up just with that performance alone. That was pretty amazing. Almost had 100 yards on the ground to go along with over 300 yards passing and 6 touchdowns, man. That's pretty amazing. But as of right now, Josh Allen didn't win that game, so to me it's up for grabs still. This Lions versus Bills game is going to determine a lot.
Well, that's the funny thing, because after I saw what Jared Goff did on Thursday, after I saw what Saquon Barkley did on a Sunday afternoon, I had convinced myself that the Buffalo Bills needed to win and Josh Allen needed to play well. But when you actually watched the game, when you saw how it played out, Josh Allen was out there breaking records while the defense was just letting, just basically, allowed more points than I don't know where I was going with that, but they allowed a lot of points. They allowed like 48 or 44, 40. I forgot which one it was. It was a 44.
Yep.
It was a 44. The defense, I mean, Matthew Stafford and Kyron Williams and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua just basically got anything that they wanted. So when I saw it play out, I was like, oh yeah, Josh Allen is the MVP front runner right now. Chase, any disagreements or issues with this list?
No, I mean, those are the top three. I think Saquon's, just due to the nature of the running back position compared to the quarterback, is getting overlooked. Jared Goff has more passing yards and touchdowns than Josh Allen. He doesn't have the rushing numbers to go with it, but at least throwing the ball this year, I think he's averaging more yards per pass as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, passing-wise, Jared Goff's making a case. I think if we beat the Bills, head-to-head should matter. But I think quarterback is just being overvalued compared to running back. And I think Saquon's having a really good year. I think 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this would probably be like a running backs award.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And that's why it's unfortunate, because one thing, another nugget about what Saquon Barkley is doing, as much as we talk about the Eagles and how they have talent with their wide receivers, A.J. Brown, A.J. Brown's one of the best in the league. Devontae Smith is certainly one of the best wide receiver twos. Jalen Hurts just a couple of years ago was second in the MVP voting, and in that same year he played a Super Bowl where he played well enough to win. All that just in tandem with each other. The Philadelphia Eagles are second last in the NFL in passing yards per game. So that means that Saquon Barkley on the ground in a lot of ways is carrying this offense.
Yeah.
Not saying that Jalen Hurts doesn't do his part on the ground as well, but they don't really pass the ball well. And Saquon Barkley, if he keeps up this pace, even if he just gets 124 yards in the last 4 games, I think he at least comes close to breaking Eric Dickerson's record. It's actually very much within shot for sure. JB Smoove, any issues with this list?
I have 0 issues with this list at all. I remember texting you guys on Sunday after the game and just saying like, hey, you know what? Josh Allen just boosted his MVP candidacy in my race, honestly, because Jared Goff was up there at number 1, but Josh Allen did everything in his power to keep the Bills in that game. And even though they lost, still, you got to give them credit for that as well, too. Obviously, this could change on Sunday as well, too, seeing that they're facing each other. But as of right now, it's Josh Allen for me. Saquon could be higher. I feel like Philly isn't utilizing him as much as they should. That and their quarterback is trying to push his way into the end zone every single play when they get down there next to the goal line. But that's a topic for another story.
What's the thing, though? It's practically unguardable. It's not as unguardable as it was a couple of years ago, but I don't have a problem with them using Jalen Hurts at the goal line.
Right, but if Saquon gets more touchdowns, then his case is much stronger.
That's fair. If you're trying to get Saquon the MVP, you should give him the ball more at the 1 yard line. And I want to just highlight a couple of honorable mentions for me, because Lamar Jackson is having a sensational season.
Absolutely.
I think if circumstances were a little bit different, he would be on this list. The reason why he's not in my top 3 is because, and I've mentioned this before, history shows that in order to win the MVP, most of the time, at least in the modern football, and this will not bode well for Saquon Barkley's case, you have to be a quarterback on a division-winning team. You saw Peyton Manning win 5, all as a division winner. Aaron Rodgers win 4, all as a division winner. Lamar Jackson win 2 as a division winner. Patrick Mahomes win 2 as a division winner. Tom Brady win 3 as a division winner. Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, you could go on and on and on. They all were division-winning quarterbacks, and as of right now, the Ravens are a wild card team, and I believe they will stay a wild card team because the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to win. Obviously, he's doing a good job this year.
Yeah,
he's doing a good job
year he's doing a good job.
And you know, I sent something over to JB Smoove as well, because you know, we talk about it. We talk about what makes Jared Goff special. We're hearing other people start to talk about this as well now that he's being brought up in MVP conversation. And it's pretty awesome that, you know, sometimes the fandom, sometimes what we see, it doesn't pan out to our vision. And we, you know what, we got that egg on our face sometimes, but sometimes it does pan out similar to how we're seeing it. And then you hear some of Jared Goff's former teammates talk about what makes him special. Let's hear from Aqib Talib via the K Adams Show, the Up and Adams Show with K Adams.
You know who they have next? The Lions with Jared Goff, who I remember you're a pretty big fan of his game. I remember you coming on the show and talking about that a lot. Let's get into that. He took your Rams to the Super Bowl. Does he have a chance? What are his chances as the Lions quarterback? What have you seen since I saw you last?
The same thing I told you last time. Just performance after performance. JG just a quiet guy, man. He don't do a bunch of Instagram ranting, a bunch of interviews, man. He just go out and he handle business over and over again. Winning is a skill, and that's everywhere he go. That's what he do, man. So I love what Detroit got going still, okay? They in the trenches, offense, defense. They'll be in the show. It'll be them, Philly. Green Bay might creep up, but I love what Detroit is doing. I love what Jared Goff is doing, man. Leading those guys, making throws. They can kill you with the run. They can kill you with the pass. So I love what they got going in Detroit.
Yeah, and it's just like listening to him talk about it. It's just like, you know what? There is something different there. You can't just go with the same normal run-of-the-mill metric that you generally want to see your scope through. With Jared Goff, he's proving now, and you're hearing it from his former teammates. You've heard it from now media. You're hearing it from the reasons why the Lions brought him here is because he is a winner. There's an intrinsic value there. There's a high-level IQ there. And it's awesome when you hear other people talk about that as well, who he led to the top of the mountain as well. Obviously, this time he wants to make sure he punches it all the way through. Not just get there to the plateau, but making sure that you punch and get that Super Bowl for the city of Detroit.
Absolutely. And Jared Goff, he is having the best season of his life. I think that there's a very good chance, especially if the Lions can finish 16-1, for Jared Goff to ultimately finish the season with the MVP award. And where we're talking about Goff versus Allen, there are, and Chase mentioned it, a few of them earlier, there are some statistical things in which Jared Goff has above Josh Allen. Passing yards, Goff; yards per attempt, Goff; touchdown passes, Goff. Although if you combine passing and running, it's Josh Allen. You've got a passer rating is Goff, and he's second in the NFL. You've got one metric that I like to use as well is 100 rating games. To me, that's if you have a 100 rating in a game, that means that for the most part you played well enough to win. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, if you have a 100 passer rating in a game, you play well enough to win. And Jared Goff has done that 9 times this year. Shout out Ferris Bueller, but 9 times, which is incredible. And Josh Allen has done it 8 times. So Jared Goff has the leg up on him right there. So it's a close race. Next week's game is going to play a big part in it. Honestly, if I'm just doing a very quick analysis of it moving forward, I expect both of them to play well. I expect it's one of those games where whichever team wins, they probably have the edge in the MVP race, because I think they both just go stupid this next Sunday, but we shall see. The point is that it is a very, very fun MVP race. I'm happy that our guy is in it, and it's going to be such a fun matchup this Sunday. One of the most anticipated games of the year.
This is going to be an epic time, and I cannot wait for it. But that's why I wanted to be able to go and pull out that clip of Aqib Talib, and I'm going to be able to look at other clips as well that I can find this week, specifically on what people believe about Jared Goff. I believe that this is a squad you don't want to get riled up. We saw Jared Goff last year with Fitzpatrick talk about, bro, like I heard the comments, I'm not a poor man's anything. And he went out there knowing that Fitzpatrick was sitting right there on the field, watching him ball out. And he did his thing. It's not just to try and prove people wrong, but I believe it's a belief that they have in themselves. And then when you have, how powerful is it when your teammates believe in you? How powerful is it when your coach and your GM believe in you? We don't know what Jared Goff was facing when he was with the Rams. You don't just overnight say, you know what, I'm just done with this guy. When you're investing millions, you invested a draft pick. That means that there had to have been things that were creeping up a long time while he was there, a long time before the culmination of the decision to move on from a Jared Goff. And that's where, to see a guy with this type of spirit, that type of resiliency from where we're from, we understand whether you're in Detroit proper or you're in the suburbs, you're all over the state. All of us have gone through what it means to come back or to go through hard times or to just press through day to day. And I know that we have somebody like that can always come back. They're never down and out. They're just always going to be, like Talib said, just even keel and have that high IQ. That to me is what makes him so special and that much more elite of a candidate in this MVP conversation.
Absolutely. There's so much that goes into Jared Goff, his calm demeanor, his leadership. That's all encompassing, and I think one of the reasons why the Lions are so good in winning time moments. I mean, it starts, of course, with coaching, but having your quarterback not get rattled easily is a big part of it. And before we move on to another team that is playing very well, but you're starting to see some cracks, I gave Lamar Jackson as an...
Can I ask you one question
Yeah,
real quick?
go ahead.
Into the game, right?
Yeah.
Last drive.
Yeah.
Ball's in Jared Goff's hand. Has to drive the field 70 yards for minimum a field goal or maybe even a touchdown.
Yeah.
Against the Bills, against any team in the league. Are you putting your money on the Lions?
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
That's
100%.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
But
And
to be
we've seen
fair,
him do that.
to be fair, if the Bills had that exact same scenario, I'd put my money whoever has the ball last. But the point is that Jared Goff has that ability to do so. We've seen it. We've seen him do it numerous times.
Yep. And that's what makes him special.
But, Dan Campbell might play the possession game so that he makes sure that the Lions have the ball last. But
Campbell's hedging his MVP
absolutely. But before we move on and talk about another team that is playing well, but you're starting to see some fractures, just a couple more honorable mentions for the MVP. Lamar Jackson is one. Joe Burrow, unfortunately, won't get it because the Cincinnati Bengals are 5-8. But I was glad to see them get a win last night. And Jamar Chase, he may be taking the mantle from Justin Jefferson as the best receiver in the NFL. And I love Justin Jefferson.
Damn.
And another sneaky one, I'm about to drop a bomb and then go to break. Whether you like him or not, Sam Darnold is a fringe MVP candidate. Look at the numbers. You can say that it doesn't always look pretty, but he's third in the NFL in passer rating.
I'm not going to fight that.
I just don't want to admit it.
He was the sneaky one for me, man. He was the sneaky one.
Not saying he's going to get it, but...
Not for MVP, but just for being able to go to the Vikings that were tailor-made for just a quarterback who just don't turn the ball over.
Yep.
And it works. That's what he's done.
It's worked so far. I mean, shoot. There may be some questions moving forward about J.J. McCarthy's place if Sam Darnold keeps playing as well as he has. But you know what is always undefeated no matter what? Woodward in Maine and the pregame show. Hey, Detroit, on game day, wake up with Woodward in Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champions, your Detroit Lions, with insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready to Detroit every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. Woodward in Maine, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Tall your local long drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. And then, of course, you have to move on to the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame show, hosted by these extraordinary gentlemen right there. That was me when the Red Wings won the shootout. More of a relieved face, not a pleasurable one. But it's the New Holland Brewing Company pregame show. Every game day, Neil Rule and Sean Baligian bring you the best Lions pregame show. Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon on Woodward Sports, live at Second Best Bar in Detroit. The latest injury reports, fantasy sit and starts, and the inside scoop on your Detroit Lions. Join us for every Sunday home games live at Second Best Bar in Detroit, your official guide to Lions game day on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller your local long drink, Sabbath Coffee, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, and Les Stanford Chevrolet.
Get energized for the holidays during the 12 Days of Fitness at Planet Fitness. Now through December 20th, join for $1 down, $15 a month. And recharge this holiday season and beyond in the clean and spacious judgment-free zone, filled with equipment for every workout. Stay motivated with free fitness training and lots more. Celebrate the 12 Days of Fitness at Planet Fitness. Join for $1 down, $15 a month. Hurry! Offer ends December 20th.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues, Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. With 10-plus years of experience and 24/7 availability, scan the QR code on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
KDK Law got your back. Wake up Woodward, Woodward Sports got your back. And chat family, I'm hoping that you guys have ours. So go ahead and just smash that like button. Just treat it right and treat it nice, man. Y'all already know what the deal is. Let's run those likes up real quick, man. Hey, there we go.
Hey, I know y'all in that mood, man. Hey, it's the beginning of the week, but you got to unwind a little bit. So just go ahead and plug that phone in real nice and real slow and hit a like for the WUW Crew. We working harder here, man. So work hard for us.
Hey, let's rock. And you know what? I saw something in here from I'm Salty. He said, I care about Super Bowl, not Pro Bowl. And I care about that too. But for whatever reason, Amon-Ra cares about it all.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that he does because it gives more opportunity for more fuel. These guys are literally turning air into octane. So listen, snub them from everything if you want to. Snub them from everything. I want those guys to be as kind of riled up as possible. And Dante151 with the $4.99 super chat says Sam Darnold will probably will win comeback player of the year, and that's it. Nothing else. No MVP, no NFC MVP, or Super Bowl MVP. And that's because I believe the Lions are going to have a lot to do about that.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that for the record. And Sam Darnold is no doubt comeback player of the year. They should just give him the award right now. But yeah, when it's all said and done, I don't think the Vikings are going to win the division. I think the most playoff wins that they're going to get is one. And it's all going to play itself out. But you can't act like Sam Darnold's been trash or the same Sam Darnold that you thought that he was. He's been good. He's done his job.
Yeah. Hey, what do you know about Trouble in Paradise? Because, you know what I'm saying? Because everything is sometimes presented as sunshine and rainbows, and all of a sudden you get to see some cracks behind the scenes a little bit. And that's what we're starting to see a little bit with the Philadelphia Eagles. To what degree is this going to affect them? I don't know. Because they still continue to win because they have some pretty special players on that roster. In football, at the end of the day, it is a team sport. It's a team game. And you can overcome, as we're seeing right now, the loss of some of our most beloved and special players that we want to get back, but we see this thing. There were a couple comments, or at least an incident or some rumors that have now been kind of confirmed by players on the team and former players, which is interesting. So, hey, you know what? JB, you got those videos?
Got a couple videos. We got a Brandon Graham one on his podcast and an AJ Brown one in his after the game media availability at his locker. You're starting to see some fractures within the foundation of the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they're playing well.
Yeah, because we want to be obviously they've been identified now as the biggest threat to the Detroit Lions. When the season started, there were probably multiple teams in the NFC that we thought, you know what, these are going to be the squads. Right now, they're probably the biggest threat with Minnesota Vikings. They just won't go away. And you know what, to start the season, we thought San Francisco 49ers were going to be a little bit more formidable, and we see they're not. So thus stands probably our biggest threat to number one seed is the Eagles. But let's check into those clips, brother.
The person that's complaining need to be accountable. And I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he know this. He, you know, I don't know the whole story, but I know that one is trying. And I mean, 11 could be a little better with how he responds to things. And they was friends before this. It's like, man, but things have changed. And I understand that because life happens. But we it's the business side that we have to make sure that we don't let the personal get in the way of the business. And that's what we got to do better as right now, because we know it's an issue. Everybody's seeing some things, but we need to be able to talk things out as men. You know what I'm saying? But we need to let personal stuff go and let's get right for this game, because, man, it's like a lot of stuff, most of the time it's just a conversation that just need to be had, but the person with the problem got to want to talk to the person other than others. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
In terms of everyone, and not just you, a lot of the players on offense saying that this was just not up to the offensive standard.
Putting our head down and just going to work, doing the things we're doing and learning and growing.
What are the conversations like with Jalen during a game like this, where maybe the passing game isn't everything you want it to be?
Not too much conversation, honestly. I don't know.
Man, there's a lot to unpack there, but my mind, for whatever reason, selfishly gets drawn back to the Detroit Lions. It all goes back to the Lions. And the fact of this, it doesn't matter how many pass attempts are going on. It doesn't matter how many attempts the wide receivers are getting. You know what I never hear? I never hear stuff like that. We've seen Amon-Ra be the guy who gets all the targets. We've seen Amon-Ra be the guy who, for the better part, is bracketed and just a decoy while other people are eating. And this Detroit Lions team and their offense just continues to just hum. Whether David Montgomery's getting the carries, whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs, whether one person's getting the yards or getting the targets in the passing game or not, people are just doing their jobs, man. The harmony, the unity, really the buy-in to this complete plan to win a Super Bowl. That's what I like to see out of our squad, in contrast to what we're seeing out of the Eagles, who they do pose a very big threat because their talent right now is proving to outweigh a little bit more maybe of their problems. But we just saw the Panthers hang with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we even weight that, because people say the Panthers are playing better, but they're not the Detroit Lions. And I do believe if you're coming against the Detroit Lions and you have those types of those types of separations going on right now in your locker room where it's getting public, I do believe that's the type of stuff that they can absolutely exploit.
And I'll tell you what, if the Panthers come to Ford Field, the Lions blow them the F out. And that's the thing with a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, who have some issues and some fractures, as we're seeing with their foundation. They're going to have some games where they play down to their competition. And despite the Carolina Panthers, they have been playing better, and Bryce Young has actually had a nice stretch. The Eagles have no business being that close with the Carolina. I mean, the Panthers
should have lost. They should have lost.
I mean, Xavier,
a drop touchdown away.
And I love Xavier Legette. He was one of my favorite players, and you blew it. But all right there. But anywho, let's just forget I did that.
Spill water on my pants. Thank you, Flannel.
Eduardo, Ed O'Neill in the chat, and you alluded to it as well. You don't see Lions players crashing out like this, and that's definitely something that needs to be taken under consideration, because A.J. Brown right there being asked about the passing offense, which I already gave you the numbers for, has not really been that good this year. He's answering these questions after a win, looking like he just came from a funeral.
Yeah.
How many times this season have we seen Amon-Ra St. Brown, including last week, not put up the numbers that you're necessarily used to seeing from him, but it's all about the team. Everybody eats, and sometimes it's not going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown's day, and he just does not give a damn. And to me, this isn't an indictment on A.J. Brown or even Jalen Hurts. I think it's more of an indictment of their top-down culture, and it all starts with Mr. Nick Sirianni. There's a big difference between a locker room led by Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni. And we saw this with the Eagles last year. We saw them get off to such a hot start. They were 10-1, and then they lost 5 out of their last 6 to lose them to the division, and then they have to go to Tampa Bay in the first round of the playoffs in the wild card round, and they get absolutely nutted on. So you've seen Eagles. You've seen Eagles crash outs before. We look at them right now as probably the biggest threat to the Lions' throne, at least in getting the 1 seed. And I agree with Sean Beligian on one thing, especially this year with how the Lions have started out. I want no part of going to Philadelphia. I want the 1 seed. And the Philadelphia Eagles are a team that, if they keep winning, they could potentially steal it right out from under us. But with that being said, you'd think the Eagles locker room was a very happy place. But we see Brandon Graham airing out a little bit of dirty laundry, which I'm surprised about, because Brandon Graham is an elder statesman in this league. And you see A.J. Brown basically calling out the passing offense and showing his frustration on the field, which is funny because A.J. Brown is actually putting up really good numbers. It's just there were moments in the game where I believe he thought he should have gotten the ball where he was open, and he just didn't. And the Eagles passing offense has been frustrating, I'm sure, for all their wide receivers at times, but they're letting it bleed into interviews and podcasts. You just hate to see it.
But that's why I'm glad that the Detroit Lions, one, they went and they locked up Amon-Ra St. Brown, let him know what his value was. Part of that value was knowing, hey, when the plays and when the game plan and the strategy dictates for you to be a decoy, This is part of the value that we're asking you to be. And that's why I love the Lions stars, because as KG said yesterday, Dan Campbell is redefining how you're coaching football and how you're going to call the game. I believe that Brad Holmes has redefined what a star looks like. Before it was, no, you pay them the money and you take their diva attitude. Well, what if you can negotiate a little bit differently? So, yes, we know that Amon-Ra St. Brown's not 6'4" and blazing speed up the field and the big body receiver that we would generally associate with the high-priced guy. But what if he's going to give you every single thing that you would ask for, and you know that that would be a little bit more than maybe the big body, high-priced receiver that's going to find themselves popping off when they don't get a certain amount of receptions. Even though you're in the middle of a special season, the Eagles are in the middle of a special season with one of their teammates having one of the most special seasons for a running back ever. You guys should be more focused on how you can support that. But instead, you have them focus on what they can get themselves. And that's what I love about who the Detroit Lions stars are. These guys, whether their name is called or not, for plays, they're just going to do their job. What were they able to highlight about Amon-Ra St. Brown in the last game against the Packers when at first he wasn't necessarily getting the targets? He was out there blocking his tail off. And they were able to call that out and circle it and show multiple highlights. Why? Because it's not a flash in the pan. It's not, let me just try and look cute for this moment. It's what he does. And it's what all of these players that Brad Holmes and Cole have brought in are worth. When he got paid and other players want to start pocket watch, oh, he ain't worth that, he ain't like that. What are y'all talking about? All I know is this: Amon-Ra St. Brown does work. Does yours? I know this too. Even if you think yours does, my wide receiver isn't crying. He's just walking around with a big stick. Is yours? I don't know if yours can say the same thing. And that's what I love about these players here.
I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles fans can't say the same thing about their wide receiver. But as I said before, we talk about the Detroit Lions with getting the right guys, a mix of talent and just hard workers and culture. And from top down, it's the best culture in the NFL, even above the Kansas City Chiefs, in my opinion. But the Philadelphia Eagles, this isn't the first time. Last year, I talked about it last year. Do we even have to go back to how they imploded for the second time even in this segment? And as a lot of us on this show and at this network have questioned before, Nick Sirianni is one of the greatest enigmas in all of the NFL, because you look at his record, you look at him helping take the Eagles to a Super Bowl, and you think, okay, he's been successful. He's been a good coach. But you've also seen numerous examples of him talking smack to Chiefs fans after beating them in the tunnel, talking smack to Dolphins fans after beating them in the tunnel, at least winning the game, and then, of course, talking the smack in the tunnel. You saw him yell at Colts fans and get up on the bench to like defend Frank Reich. You saw that stupid little head nod that he did in that Giants game in the playoffs, and think to yourself, would you ever see Dan Campbell pull that? Would you ever see Andy Reid do that? Hell, would you ever even see like Kevin O'Connell or Sean McVay do something like that? So in a lot of ways, Nick Sirianni just carries himself like, for lack of a better term, a fuckboy. A coach who's had a lot of success, but an absolute fuckboy. Oh. And that to me is the most, because A.J. Brown, I do think he's more prone to be a diva just by himself than like an Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I also don't think there's great leadership, at least when it comes to the head coach in the Philadelphia Eagles locker room as well. I don't think Dan Campbell would allow stuff like this, and I think Nick Sirianni, he's just, for all the good that he's done, is not really equipped to lead NFL men to the peak, to like get them to the Super Bowl, because the Eagles have a Super Bowl roster, but I don't think they're ever going to win one with Nick Sirianni as their head coach. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? When we talk about them being a threat, obviously Saquon Barkley is going to be the first thing that comes to mind. And Jalen Hurts, he's having we already understand what he can do out there on the football field. But when you talk about Saquon Barkley, and you talk about the fact that some people say, you know what, the Lions aren't stopping the run as effectively as they once used to. And you see Josh Jacobs go out there and get you a 3-touchdown game. Still comes up short in the yardage department. But when I see that, and I see other, in weeks past, a couple of these running backs have some decent yardage attempts, or either put up 1 or 2 touchdowns, but the Lions are still able to sustain that. That's when I'm like, okay, Saquon is probably going to have to, then you're going to have to put up 5. The Lions have already set this precedence that it's like, all right, you're not necessarily going to zip up and down the field and pass for touchdowns against us. You might be able to do some things in the 20s, but what are you doing when you get into that red zone? And so it's like, if you know that you could take the punch that Saquon Barkley is going to bring to the football field, I am a lot more encouraged about, despite the defense not being at 100%, they've shown that they can sustain even if a running back goes out there and scores 3 touchdowns in the red zone.
I mean, if the Eagles come to Ford Field, they're toast. In my opinion, just because I don't think the Lions are losing any home playoff games. And also with the Eagles, with their offense, there seems to be a bit of a formula. And it's been a damn good formula because Saquon Barkley's the best effing back in the league right now. But if the Lions can find a way to slow down the run, and this isn't a hypothetical matchup because the only way the Lions would see them is in the playoffs. If the Lions could find a way to stop the run and limit both Saquon and Jalen Hurts' scrambles as well, you make them one-dimensional. This has not been a good passing offense so far this year. I wonder how much of it is that they haven't had to, or if it has a lot to do with maybe Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown just aren't on the same page. But the reality is that the Eagles can be made one-dimensional. So that's what makes me less worried about them and not worried at all if they come to Ford Field, which I ultimately think will be the matchup because I believe the Eagles are losing one of their last 4 games.
And I do, man. I ponder this. Their secondary. I know that there's a lot to like with their secondary, but it's not perfect.
No.
And that's where my mind just keeps going back to Jamison Williams and Tim Patrick being able to be X factors, being able to, with Jamison Williams and that speed, I just don't believe there's anybody that's going to really be able to keep up with him, let alone in NFL. But if we want to just focus it on this game, the Eagles. And then Tim Patrick, the big body receiver, he's going to be able to keep their secondary busy, which you need. You need their secondary thinking because Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to get a lot of attention. You already know that. He's going to draw a lot of different coverages, a lot of different looks. So then we have a Jamison Williams who can put the speed on and get himself open, even in short yardage attempts where they just throw him the ball. And it's just, hey, you got to shake your first defender, and then you'll have your blocks there. And we see him do this routinely. You know, when they give him the ball, he does it to a good degree, to good success. It's like that's where I'm like, you know what? I think that might be one of those X factors or keys for the Detroit Lions offense against the Eagles defense. And you wear them down. Obviously, Sonic and Knuckles is going to be a battering ram to soften up that defensive line in the middle of that defense. But in terms of that passing game, that's where I believe you could take the top off with Jamison Williams. And then you can keep the chains moving when you talk about Tim Patrick in those kind of third and long type yardage situations.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles secondary, it's a lot of respect for Quinyon Mitchell, a lot of respect for Cooper DeJean, what they've done as a rookie. But it's gettable, as you said. I mean, I know that the Lions have a rookie corner out there as well, but he's surrounded by Carlton Davis, Kirby Joseph, and Brian Bridge. DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are not surrounded by that level of talent. I mean, you got Reed Blankenship, who's had a good year. You got CJ GJ, who, as much as I want to clown him into oblivion,
he's had a solid year for them.
He has. I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't exist or anything like that. You got Slay, but still. The Eagles secondary, if you put it up against the Lions offense, which is number 1 in the NFL, I think the Lions have that advantage for sure. Man, and it's a hypothetical matchup.
It is a hypothetical matchup because obviously there's a lot that has to go right between now and then for the Detroit Lions and a lot that has to go the Eagles' way. Yeah. But you know what? I wouldn't mind if their little rifts in the locker room were to just kind of break things down for them. You know, hopefully the Detroit Lions are one of those only teams that are heading into the playoffs on a heater. Looking back at last year, the 49ers, and they lost those 3 games in the second half of the season in a row. Like I'm wondering which team in this NFC kind of race right now is more susceptible to that in terms of the Vikings, who people all year have thought they will be that team, but they just haven't, or the Eagles, who right now are showing a little bit of issues in their locker room. Them, for whatever reason, because remember last year, they too had some issues in the second half of the season.
They did.
So I do wonder, can those things repeat? They are, when out of the 2 teams, the Vikings and the Eagles, who are competing for that number 1 seed right now, they out of them, I for some reason believe it's the Eagles who are more susceptible to tripping up as we come down the finish line here over the Vikings.
I think they both lose 1 game exactly.
Ooh.
That's my prediction. I'm sticking to it. And I also think the Lions lose 1 out of their next 4, but that's okay. That would give the Lions the 1 seed at 15-2. And if one of them, God forbid, were to steal the 1 seed out from under the Detroit Lions, I would rather go to Minnesota than Philly. But I don't think that's going to play out because I think all roads will lead to Ford Field. Win 2 playoff games at home and you're in the Super Bowl. And speaking of NFL teams and speaking of rankings and all of that, It's Top 10 Tuesday.
I sent mine over too, man. It's interesting. Shout
Let's
out Ed
go.
O'Neill real quick, 499 Super Chat. People ran wide open versus Philly the last 2 weeks. The difference has been drops by wide receivers from Aguilar and Leggett. And that's when you kind of look at their defense, that's why I'm just like, you know what? I think Tim Patrick's going to have an advantage, and Jamison Williams is going to have an advantage.
I could definitely see it, man. I like that matchup at Ford Field if it were to happen. But
that's right.
Where can you get the best haircut?
Hey, any Lady Jane's haircuts from in. Just walk in today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a $20 haircut special, scalp massage, a hot lather, neck shave, and a hot towel treatment for one of our talented stylists. Take advantage of our $20 haircut special. All you got to do is scan that QR code. It's wherever it is on the screen. You'll find it probably before I do, and when you do, you'll get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. It's wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices.
Yeah.
We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The bad boys from the NFL are here. Your 2024 Detroit Lions are the hardest hitting, highest flying, trickiest playing, grittiest team in the NFL.
A dominant team.
Get all your coverage of your favorite team right here in your favorite network. Woodward Sports.
Correct.
Get energized for the holidays during the 12 Days of Fitness at Planet Fitness. Now through December 20th,
Yep, I
join
got
for
you.
$1 down, $15 a month. And recharge this holiday season and beyond in the clean and spacious judgment-free zone, filled with equipment for every workout. Stay motivated with free fitness training and lots more. Celebrate the 12 Days of Fitness at Planet Fitness. Join for $1 down, $15 a month. Hurry, offer ends December 20th.
Most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
When you give to the Salvation Army, your donation makes it possible to serve our community's most vulnerable. 24 hours a day, 365. The Salvation Army of Metro Detroit's 2024 Red Kettle Christmas campaign is in full effect, and even though the total is really high, the goal is really high, anything that you can give always matters and helps. Your contributions will help provide love beyond Christmas to individuals in need of food, shelter, and compassion. Scan the QR code on screen or go donate right now to donate.sagreatlakes.org for your donation today.
What up, though, people? We are back as Wake Up Woodward, and I see people, somebody was like, oh, talk about the Bills. Guys, we're going to get there. I promise you, we are going to get there. But right now, we're going to get into kind of like our Around the NFL segment, our Top 10 Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, look, I think we all got our list in.
Yeah,
You got
I believe
one,
so.
KG. I got one as well. Who should go first, JB Smooth?
I've been leading the last couple weeks.
KG's been doing it the past couple weeks. I know Flannel, we've been back and forth flip-flopping. I think Kool-Aid, since this is your first entry? to
Second.
this- Second entry? Yeah, let's do you first. How about that?
Let's rock.
I'll go
Big
after
pause.
Kool-Aid, then KG can go last.
Big pause on that.
Oh, man. I was about to say something crazy with the Soroki's back wall.
Yeah, please don't.
Go ahead and say it.
Let's keep our sponsor, please.
Okay, I won't say it. I won't say it.
Yeah,
All right, listen, you know what?
nasty
Let's get into
Freaky ass.
Hi, Queen Kool-Aid. Hey, top 10 NFL teams, power rankings, and I had the opportunity to just say,
It's a doozy.
Green Bay Packers, I just don't care about you guys.
Oh,
I just don't.
not on the list.
I just don't.
Damn,
they gave me
dog.
the opportunity to hate on them.
Damn, dog.
In a more logical, less kind of F the Packers world, maybe they get number 10. but it's my list, and I can do what and you lost.
I hear you. This is a
So you know
doozy,
what?
my way. This one is a doozy.
Hey, you know what, man? I got the Commanders back in there for the large part of the season. They have found themselves really exceeding expectation. They had a little bit of a trip up, but they're back on track. The Denver Broncos as well, they're a team that has won again. They're another one of those squads that, as of late, I've been more impressed with them.
Yeah.
To me, it was between them and the Chargers, and because Broncos got a dub, Chargers didn't, I kind of went with that way as we're talking about it being a power ranking. I probably, if I had to pick which team I like a little bit better, it's probably those LA Chargers. No hardball bias at all.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans, I told you guys, let's see them get back on track. They'll be right back into the top 10 for me. I said I got them coming at number 8. Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos as well, man.
Seattle at 7, a little crazy.
Hey, listen, I'm going to keep saying this.
I'm not gonna hold you.
Listen. Last week, you guys were like, why are they on the list? And my hunch is this week, they're going to be on some other people's list. So that's all I'm saying. They've won 3 in a row last week. They have now won 4 in a row now. I got to respect it. And they got an opportunity, realistically, I think, to knock off the Vikings.
Yeah, they still won
7-6.
They won 4 straight. They still 7-6.
8-5.
Oh, they 8-5 now? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, their record, they're just beneath the Packers.
Yeah.
And if the Packers are kind of on the way down after the Lions put them there, and the Seattle Seahawks, they won 4 in a row, I got to give them the nod, man. So they move up a little bit. The Minnesota Vikings, they keep winning. But I believe if you put them on a neutral field right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steelers would take that one. And that's, to me, that's just my own eye test. So I got the Steelers above them, but the Vikings, you got to nod, tip the cap to them. That was the squad that I believed from the start of the season would be the biggest threat in the NFC North to the Detroit Lions, with the Lions ultimately wrapping this thing up before the last game of the season even matters. The Pittsburgh Steelers, whatever Mike Tomlin is doing over there, that type of juju, I've always wanted that with the Lions. I do believe we have that with Dan Campbell. But Tomlin just continues to press the right buttons. I didn't really expect much with Russ and with Fields going there, but it was enough for him.
He won with both of them.
It's freaking crazy.
He won 4 games with Fields and run the Ritz with Russell.
I keep sitting here thinking, like, what if they were the team to just find themselves into the Super Bowl? It's like they're one of those psychological teams, man.
Yeah.
But Kansas City Chiefs, they're coming at number 4. The Chiefs' magic continues for them. They get a doink and they clinch the division, man. After that, the Philadelphia Eagles, the dissension, the close loss to the close win over the Panthers. To me, I don't know. I like the way the Buffalo Bills are playing better right now. I know that they had the close loss. I just like them better than the Philadelphia Eagles. I kind of deliberated, should I put the Philadelphia Eagles over the Buffalo Bills right now?
You should not.
But I'm not.
I hear you.
I'm not. Obviously, if they win next week and the Buffalo Bills lose, we won't give those predictions away right now. Then that's going to change. And number 1, it's king of the jungle, man. King of the NFL right now. Got the whole NFL world crying. If I could put more spaces in between, like maybe space bar, in between the Lions and the Buffalo Bills right now, I would. The Detroit Lions have earned their position where they sit right now, and it looked like a team that's, despite the losses, still very well coached, still very well-oiled machine, and their players, their stars, their guys, they're still stepping up. So that's my top 10.
Ooh,
that's right.
No, that's a
interesting list.
I will give you credit, Kool-Aid, before we get to mine. You were bullish on the Seahawks, and they rewarded your faith.
Hey,
they did get. That's
a
big win for them. That's like a division, like a statement game.
If they keep rewarding our faith, it's going to mean well for us in the NFC North.
The downside is the Rams won as well. So I'm just saying the Rams is on their heels. But continue.
Yeah, they're the best team in the NFC West.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the Seahawks keep the Rams from winning that division personally. But hey, let's go to Old Flannel Sam's list. Speaking up myself in the third person, probably shouldn't do that, but that's all right. At number 10, the Houston Texans. They were on a bye. As I said with the Texans, though, I love their talent. I love Mixon's been great. Nico Collins on a per-game basis has arguably been the best receiver in the NFL. You've got Will Anderson. You've got Danielle Hunter. And I do believe that C.J. Stroud, even though he's had a bit of a sophomore slump, could end up going on one of those heaters, and Houston could end up winning out. I got them at 10 for now. At 9, the Los Angeles Chargers. mainly because they have the number one defense in the NFL in terms of points allowed per game. Their problem is that they just can't beat the boogeyman that is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are to the Chargers as the Lions are to the Packers. Good against everybody else, but can't beat the big dog, even though Justin Herbert, his touchdown to interception ratio 14-1. You love to see it. Big fan of his. At number 8, the Baltimore Ravens. If you would have told me before the year that Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers would have the seasons in tandem that they did, I would have thought 1 or 2 losses. But their defense has often let them down, and their offense, even in some spots, has not come through when they were needed to, like against the Eagles and against the Steelers. The Steelers being the team that Lamar struggles with most, and the team that the Ravens have to beat if they want to win the division, but seemingly can't beat right now. At number 7, I still have the Green Bay Packers, because I respect them enough as a team and as an organization to further value what the Lions have done to them. The Packers are a good football team. The Packers against every other team in the NFL are 9-2. The Packers, if they were in a couple other divisions, would be leading the division. But the Lions continue to beat them, and that's the reason why I've got the Packers at 7, because I respect who they are, except when they play the Lions. At number 6, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have had a better year than I thought. Shout out Mike Tomlin. There, I gave you all what you want. Mike Tomlin this year is at least a Coach of the Year candidate. But Russell Wilson, though, a lot of people wanted to say that he was done, that he was the worst quarterback ever, that he's just some weird guy who's going to come here and do nothing, lose his job to Justin Fields. Russell Wilson's been playing well.
Are true, but he is playing well.
The weirdness, I will give you that. But Russell Wilson is playing well, and he's going into the Hall of Fame someday, whether y'all like it or not. But it's really about that defense. That front 7 is disgusting. You got TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith, Cameron Hayward, just a fearsome foursome right there. And at number 5, the Buffalo Bills. They dropped quite a bit for me, and the reason why they dropped, Josh Allen to me is playing like the best quarterback in football this year, but that defense got a little exposed. Don't get me wrong, that Rams offense is good and getting healthier, but this Buffalo Bills defense gave up 44. I know one of them was a blocked punt return for a touchdown, but still, their defense is showing some cracks, and that's one of the reasons I put Buffalo so high before, is because the defense had been better than I thought that it would, but that's why I got them at 5. At number 4, the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people aren't going to like this one. They just keep finding ways to win. Sam Darnold made a bit of a statement in this last game. Even though a couple of those passes were prayers, they were answered. One by Jordan Addison and one by Justin Jefferson, and I like their defense. Aaron Jones is a clear upgrade over what they had last year with Alexander Mattison, and they're 11-2. And even Byron Murphy, the one who has been chirping a bit lately, has 6 interceptions, so he stepped up more than I thought that he would. Number 3, Philadelphia Eagles. I know they had a tough time against the Carolina Panthers, but Saquon Barkley is arguably the best player in football this year. Their defense has been really solid, led by a lot of their recent draft picks, and maybe the most valuable offseason addition in Zach Bond, their linebacker, who's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, probably the most underrated of them all. And they're 11-2. They're keeping it so that the Lions have to keep winning. They can't let up. So respect to the Eagles for that. Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. What did I tell you last week? They're going to beat the bad teams by 3. They're going to beat the good teams by 2. They're going to beat the Carolina Panthers by 3. They're going to beat the Las Vegas Raiders by 2. But they're also going to beat the Baltimore Ravens by 1 and the Chargers by 2 and then by 7 in previous games. They know how to win at the end, whether you want to call it devil magic, whether you want to call it luck, whether you want to call it refs, whether you want to call it late game execution. I think all of that go together in some Kansas City Chiefs stew, but they're 12-1 and they are won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. Got to give them their respect. And at number 1, obviously the Detroit Lions. Best team by a wide margin. I'll agree with Kool-Aid. I probably should have put a spacebar. I might do that next time if they continue to win, but we talk about them enough. Lions best team in football by a country mile.
Hey, you know what? And obviously people, they're going at Buffalo Bills at 5.
Bills
Kansas
over
City Chiefs
Minnesota
at 2,
over the Bills.
And Minnesota over the Bills.
I'm sorry.
I mean, the Vikings, I'll tell you what.
They're winning though.
Here's how I feel about the Minnesota Vikings, and maybe all of us can come together. I don't believe that they're an 11-2 team. just in a vacuum. But I also don't believe that they should be disrespected the way that Neil and Stick disrespect them, as like they might as well be just they might as well be the Chicago Bears. I think the answer is more in the middle and more skewed towards the Vikings being, I think all things equal, they'd be about a 9-4 team. They'd win the NFC West, they'd win the NFC South, but they're not 11-2, but their record is 11-2. You are what your record says you are at some point.
Man.
They're one game back of the juggernaut Detroit Lions. That in and of itself is crazy, but it's true.
Got one more list?
We do.
What up, though, KG?
All right, here is my top 10 list. And listen, man.
Look it up.
I'm looking for a reason to put the Broncos in. So 7 through 10 is on notice right now. I'm ready to put the fucking Denver Broncos in there.
Get the Packers out of here.
But
no,
right now,
Seahawks love.
Listen, right? No, I'm sorry. The Sea Chickens, they doing good. The Sea Chickens are doing good. They could sneak into the list, but not over the Broncos.
They're in the playoffs right now.
They're 8-5.
I hear you. But at number 10, I still have the Texans. They were on the bye week this week, but they still lead the AFC South, and they won their last game, so I kept them in there. They got a big matchup against the resurging Miami Dolphins coming up this week, so that one will tell a lot as to whether they'll stay in this list. At number 9, I got the LA Chargers. And listen, they took a tough loss to the Chiefs. They had a lead throughout that game and just couldn't close the deal. But second in the AFC West, man, and the offense, they just still lacking something, man. I really want to believe in the Chargers. I'm still not totally off the bandwagon, but they are missing something offensively. Defense is great, but they are missing something offensively. At number 8, I have the Baltimore Ravens. They were on the bye week as well. Still second in the AFC North, but they desperately need a win. I mean, in the worst way. They beat the Chargers in the head-to-head, which is why I have them over the Chargers, but they lost to the Eagles the following week, so they remain at 8. At number 7, the Green Bay Packers, third in the NFC North, although they have a 9-4 record. Got to give them their props for that. But they've been swept by the Lions, so, the NFC North is pretty much out of the question for them. And, they won 3 straight before they lost to the Lions, which is why I had to keep them in that 7th spot. But they are there. At number 6, I have the Minnesota Vikings. I moved them up. They've been at 8 the last couple of weeks. I moved them up a little bit. I said if they, continue to play well, I would move them up. But I'm sorry, man. Like, I get the Sam Darnold numbers. I get that they are playing well. But if you watch the games, and I hate to say this because people use this argument against Jared Goff, but Jared Goff has accomplished way more in his career. I think Sam Darnold is just benefiting from the product around him. They have a solid running game. The receivers are great. The coach is great. So I think he's just playing a little bit above his head because he has so much around him. But that's another argument for another time. At number 5, and plus they got a convincing win against the Falcons this past week. At number 5, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are leading.
Black and yellow.
Hey, the black and yellow, man, all day. Leading the AFC North. They avenged their loss to the Browns and the ordained quarterback that is Jameis Winston. To Sam and JB's dismay. They beat them by 2 scores, man. And the offense is getting better week to week. I keep telling y'all, if this Steelers offense catches up, a lot of teams in AFC gonna be in trouble, man. At number 4, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. They are leading the NFC East. They have won 9 straight games. But, the offense is carrying, Saquon is carrying the offense, but Jalen Hurts has not been good. And I said that their talent would get them to the playoffs and coaching would cost them, but I think we got to throw Jalen Hurts in that argument now too, man. He is not playing well. His passing numbers are way down from last year. And in a playoff situation, I don't know if Jalen Hurts will be able to carry this offense if they go down in a playoff game.
I hope you're right.
It's yet to be seen, but we are getting close, man. We are getting close. He has to play better. At number 3, I got the Kansas City Chiefs still. They are leading the AFC West, and for some reason they love winning 19-17 back-to-back weeks. They have 19-17 victories, man, but they did get an important win against the Chargers, and they won 3 straight since that Bills loss, but because they lost the head-to-head to the Bills, I still have the Bills above them. And of course, at number 2, speaking of them, it is the Buffalo Bills. They lead the AFC East. They had a close loss against the Rams, man, despite Josh Allen putting on an absolute show, man. But I still got him at 2 because of the head-to-head matchup, and they've won 7 straight before that Rams loss. And at number 1, y'all know what the fuck it is. Injuries don't matter. 4th downs don't matter. The hate don't matter. It's the Detroit Lions. Forward down the motherfucking field. Y'all know what it is, man. I ain't got to say no more about the best team in the fucking NFL.
Dunk that mug. Hey, you know what, man? You know what? Let's start a poll so that the chat family can start to vote
I'm going on 3 straight right now.
Who has the best one? You know, in KG's list, I understand it. I understand Flannel's list. But, hey, chat family, remember, there's only one list that you can vote on that does not have the Green Bay Packers on it. If you vote for theirs, you're voting for the Packers FTP.
Don't be trying to lobby votes.
Let's go. And, you know, there's winners on mine. Yeah. Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawks.
Listen, I can't stand the Packers, but keeping them out the top 10 is crazy,
remember,
bro. They 9-4, bro.
Remember? Look, they're at number 11. Yeah. If they win, they're going to be in.
That's wild, bro.
Oh, man.
Politics, man. Hey,
that was a good list, though, KG, for real.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think I like your top 5 better.
Yeah, I kept them the same the last 3 weeks.
I like your top 4 better.
Yeah. 6 through 10 is what's been doing a lot of the shuffling, but the top 5 is pretty much stayed the same. So,
hey, well, let's rock, man. Let's get into the next segment. Where should we go, Mr. JB Smooth?
Over to me for Jars.
Hey, that's right, man.
Yeah, shout out to Jars once again. All right, Woodward sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or just chilling, Jars Cannabis has you covered. It is home to Michigan's largest lineup of recreational cannabis products. They got 27 locations across the state, repping Michigan in the biggest way possible. 9 locations are right in Metro Detroit, so there's always one close by you. And if you're in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, Michigan, you get ready because new stores are coming very, very soon. It's Jars Cannabis.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
You know it, KG. Listen, fuel your Lions fan up the perfect cup and become a subscriber to Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're gearing up for a big game or savoring a quiet morning. Remember, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. You can enjoy it while you're voting for the list that doesn't have the Packers on it right now. All you got to do is head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast. Use code Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription order. Awake and unwind. Support local and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters.
Hey, and speaking of voting, somebody vote for my list because my feelings are getting hurt. Come on. But Mark White. Tribute New Home Affiliate Financial Pitch. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Sam, at least you have integrity. He over here trying to weaponize fandom. How you gonna weaponize our fandom?
Listen, guys, that list that said that the button that says Kool-Aid in the chat right now, if you hit that one, that's a vote for FTP as well.
Dog,
Those
come on,
lists
dog.
have the
Come
Packers
on,
on
bro.
there. In my universe, they don't even exist.
I mean, it's a close list right now. If I'm looking right now,
Man.
KG, you got 51%. Kool-Aid, you're at 41.
Let's go.
Unfortunately, you're at 8 right now. Sorry.
The only way I'll ever
You
get...
know what? Since you asked for it, though, it went from 4 to 8, and now you're at
it's
10.
It's at 10.
Ask them for more,
The
man.
only way that I could ever win this is if I put the Chiefs at like 10.
You don't have to put them at 10. They can't be 2, though. They can't be 2.
I can't wait for the
getting
day.
closer.
I feel like there's gonna be a day though when that does happen. When they're just
They
like
gon' lose.
10 and we're just like,
Hey, I told you, I'm looking for a reason to put the Broncos in. If they beat the Chiefs, that's the one. That's the one. They get in the top 10 list after that.
100%.
Race is getting closer.
let's go, people. There's only
KG,
one list.
Dog, that's
There's
bullshit, bro.
There's only one
That's
list.
bullshit.
Let's go.
I'm in
Let's
the double
go.
digits. Let's go.
We gotta hit the Kool-Aid list. You know what? We'll leave it going just for a little bit longer while we talk. Just really quickly, man. The Tigers, they do sign right-handed pitcher Alex Cobb to a 1-year deal. I know there was another smaller list or something like that. Another smaller move that had gone down as well, and some rumors of some big moves that could go down. If you could just kind of put this in basketball terms for me, Flannel Sam, and for the people out there as well. Alex Cobb, 1-year deal to the Detroit Tigers. Do you like the move? What does it mean for the Tigers? And out of some of the rumors, if you have a little bit of time, if you've heard anything as well.
I guess.
In basketball terms, this is a 1-year deal for Corey Joseph.
I don't agree with that. I think it's, you know what it is? You know what it is?
You go to the means and that's what you come out with? I know it's not over. I'm just saying, that's the first move. I'm not excited. I'm not.
It's not Corey Joseph. It's somewhere in between Corey Joseph and Tim Hardaway Jr. That's what it is to me.
Damn, that's a wide net.
I get it. But Alex Cobb, I mean,
no, he's not working.
We saw him in the playoffs last year. He pitched a game for Cleveland, and unfortunately for the Tigers gave Alex Cobb that L. So can't beat him, join him. But no, for real though, Alex Cobb, he's 37. He's not what he once was. Even when he was at his peak, he never really threw hard. He's more crafty. And last year, he missed the majority of the season with a shoulder injury. I get all of that in combination. Doesn't sound good. He is a lifetime 3.84 ERA guy in 233 starts. He's a professional. He's a veteran. I don't think he'll be Kenta Maeda, but it's certainly a move in which I don't really know if it'll be good or bad. But I will say this. If you're looking at their starting 5 next year with Alex Cobb hopefully in the rotation, you got Skubal, you got Job, you got Reese Olson, you got Cobb, and then you got maybe Montero, maybe Mize, maybe Ty Madden, maybe Brent Herter. I think that's solid. I'd like to see them go after another starter. I think with what Tigers fans' frustrations are is that it appears that they're going bargain bin shopping. It appears that they're doing the Moneyball thing, which I don't necessarily mind, but considering they just made the playoffs last year, Alex Cobb, as you say Corey Joseph, KG, I say somewhere in between Corey Joseph and a Tim Hardaway Jr., he's a solid piece, but not super impactful.
Yeah, because for me, I guess what the move signals to me, especially hearing this, is that they're gearing up to make sure they can stabilize what they can do next season right away to punctuate on a playoff run. Bringing back your integral pieces to that run last year, and now you're going to bring in some pitching to help shore up your starters, help shore up your bullpen. I can understand that. I know that us as fans, us as people who are covering it, us as people who are going to follow it daily, us as people who live and die by this stuff, man, our breaths and our anxiety goes up and down based on this stuff. Yeah. It's like we're ready for them to go and really spend around this nucleus. Not that we want them to just go out there and just cash out, because you've presented options as GM Flannel where they could go, look, if you're not looking to spend too much, if you're not looking to break the bank, these are some players, these are some options.
Jesse Winker.
Jesse Winker. If there is something that you could do to just go out there and get at least just one, just, hey, you know what, this will be our high-priced guy. If you did it for Javi Baez, please go out there and for this era of Detroit Tigers baseball that has now proven to you that they're worth the investment, do that for them. And I don't mean just Scooble. If they come back with like, here you go, Scooble, and that's the one package deal, that's where they spend the money, and then they lock them up knowing that's what fans want. But they don't spend anywhere else. They don't go and they get us that bat that we know can knock things out the park, or go and get Scooble another dog within that starting lineup. I'm going to be like, yo, what are we doing right now?
Yeah.
What are we doing? So
it's still early. And if you think I'm mad, you should see Pete Spivik's reaction. He was sick yesterday. Pete was, he got drilled in the head. His blood was everywhere. So, but
he's pitched well at times since then.
Yeah, he has. He has. And I mean, just realistically, he is a solid back-end rotational starter. It is what it is. You got Chris Fetter in the building, so hopefully he can work a little bit of magic with him. Like Sam said, he's a career 364 guy. That's not bad at all, but I just worry about, like you said, the bargain bin shopping, man. I feel like fans are owed a little bit more, especially with the fact that you're going to keep Javi Baez. He's going to be on this roster, hopefully not an opening day starter, but you're going to have to deal with him in a platoon situation. So I just feel like, you don't have to be a top 10 payroll in the MLB, but you can be 17th, 18th. Like, come on now, you have to give us a little bit more. And I know it's still early. They still have the potential to go out and make moves, but this is an early indication to me that they are going to try to piece the Moneyball strategy. And Moneyball is great, but I just feel like there's a ceiling to the Moneyball strategy. And in these next 2 years, while you're waiting for your young guys to come up, we at least need to compete. And you're not going to do it the same way you did it last year.
Man. Dog, that is a word. I'm actually glad we talked about it. JB, we can go ahead and close that poll real quick, man, as we get into what's trending. Hurry up. Just close it. Hurry up. Hurry up. 10 minutes.
You know what? I will do this. I will give you both 1 minute apiece.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sit here and sway
come on,
the
chat.
audience.
Let's go for a real list.
And then after we come back from break, I will end the poll. Because right now, this is a heavyweight fight going
Come on,
on.
chat. Let's vote for a real fucking list.
18%.
He's weaponizing your fandom.
Guys, no, he's making you vote for the Packers.
The Packers are 9-4.
They lost.
Unfortunately, they have to be in the list.
After Packers, listen. This
it's
is your
FTP
opportunity
all day,
to pile it on some more. Pile it on some more and say FTP. And you know what? Reward winning. Seattle has won 4 games in a row. It's a power ranking.
It's not just that. I put the Chiefs in their proper place. I have kept the Chiefs in their proper place the last 3 weeks.
The Chargers lost. I got no losers on my list except for at the top. And they belong there. The the Bills, they still belong up there.
That's fine.
But I'm telling you guys, look. People
you like the freak of the week. You just like the freak of the week, and that's
Packers
fine.
Fans in the
I'm
chat.
talking about longevity in my top 10 power rankings. There's longevity in mine.
Hey, you know what? If I have my way, the Packers won't be there. This is just, in my opinion, a sign of things to come.
Packers 9-4, y'all. They got to be.
Man,
Unfortunately,
Packers fans in the chat.
they got to be in the list, though. It's FTP all day, though. FTP.
Hey, let's go. We can close it. KG, in that extra minute, gave KG what he needed to pull away.
Yes, sir.
With the victory. And, Flannel,
3 weeks straight, baby. Let's get it.
17%. Thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. 17%. I'm proud of every
race. Very close race.
I'm proud of every unit.
You gonna go down with your Chiefs love. Your Chiefs love going down with the ship.
12-1.
Hey, you know what? Let's work, man. Let's rock. That was fun. I love the exercises. I love the squad. And chat family, most importantly, we love you guys. Thank you for being engaged with that all day. And honestly, the comments on the worst coaches. If you guys want to be able to kind of bring that back up again as we get into what's trending, we're going to get into our Feldman segment, Feldman Mailbag segment. We'll bring some of that stuff back up again. Some of the worst coaches. I know Mo Cheeks was one that a lot of us were just kind of like,
yeah. The Mo Cheeks days was not pretty.
He falls up a lot, though.
Cheeks the turtle.
He does.
Shout out to Chase.
Tell us about Caesars, JB.
All right. Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code on the screen. Use code word Woodward1000. Deposit up to $1,000, and all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. And you know what? If it doesn't hit, they will throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. It is the Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. But you know what's the official food here at Woodward Sports? It's Soroki's, of course, right, Flannel?
Absolutely. We already told you Soroki's was taking over Michigan. Check out their new Fenton and Heartland locations today. The Fenton one is fully on open. Their grand opening was this past Thursday, and I'm hoping the residents of Fenton are enjoying having the Soroki's nearby. But on this Thursday, just 2 days from now, the Heartland location is having their grand opening December 12th from 4 to 8 p.m. Enjoy exclusive giveaways, a chance to win free Soroki's for a year, and the cheapest gas in the state. Come out and enjoy the fun food and unbeatable deals at Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza.
Get energized for the holidays during the 12 Days of Fitness at Planet Fitness. Now through December 20th, join for $1 down, $15 a month. And recharge this holiday season and beyond in the clean and spacious judgment-free zone, filled with equipment for every workout. Stay motivated with free fitness training and lots more. Celebrate the 12 Days of Fitness at Planet Fitness. Join for $1 down, $15 a month. Hurry! Offer ends December 20th.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. You can join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy and every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. You want to trust the guy that D-Mac trusts. Why? Because he's here to keep you in the game. Dr. Jeff Pierce it is. He's here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Hey, 1800 Tequila, official tequila of Woodward Sports Lions watch parties and post-game show. Join 1800 Tequila and Woodward Sports every Lions game live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township and celebrate the wins with smooth 1800 Tequila, proud sponsor of your Detroit Lions. 1800 Tequila, the best taste in tequila. Drink responsibly.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. And, you know, I'm going to throw that question back out there again. Worst head coaches in Detroit. And it was teed up by Chuck Brewer, who said Monty Williams or Matt Patricia. And I want to make sure that that's expanded to college coaches as well. So definitely get some of those into the chat. Get your Feldman Mailbag questions in now so that we can kick off the Feldman Mailbag segment with your comments and your answers, as well as a phone number, 313-552-6322. Call in right now, and we'll definitely get to you during the Feldman segment. But let's spark up word to jars, Mr. JB Smooth.
Let's do it.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Man, y'all know who it is.
Hey, let's rock.
Yo, what's going on, chat family? What's going on, fellas? You know, we were talking about Saquon Barkley a little bit earlier for that MVP race, but I don't know if you guys noticed, I think he has a little bit of competition from that, you know, backwards hurdle that he just did.
Huh.
What?
Oh,
what?
Oh. Check this.
I was ready for somebody. I thought someone was about to
defenders.
get wrecked, bro.
Nope.
He jumped over 2 people with 1 jump.
That's nasty.
That's impossible.
If you the second guy, why is you jumping? He was already in the air.
God.
You wasn't going to tackle him, bro.
Where did this happen?
You put yourself on the highlight for no reason.
I'm not even too sure where this happened. It looks like a high school somewhere, maybe in Texas.
Wow, you starting off us trending like that.
That's tough.
Sheesh. That's incredible. Like I'm seeing it, and I'm still like, wait, let me see it one more time, because I still don't quite know what I'm seeing. That's an incredible move by that player there, man. Wow.
We got a spot for you at Michigan, man?
Okay. Come to Michigan State.
Hey, look, hey, that's Alex Orgy when they moving the running back.
There we go. Hey. That's just gross. Just gross. Unbelievable. I can't believe you even said that. And Kool-Aid, I can't believe you even sent this in as well, too. Once again, you got cooked by Kid Kool-Aid again, and you still somehow sent it?
What's going on? Wait, what?
Oh.
Where's my son?
Oh, ankle's broken.
Wow. How you get your ankles broken in the living room? Oh, come here.
Oh, I like it, man.
Wow. That's tough.
You know what? I love the triple threat, man. When you got a solid triple threat, you'll be able to shake anybody off the dribble.
That's nasty.
That is.
Can't believe you let Kid Kool-Aid do that to
Double
you, man.
sham.
In the house.
That ain't happening for a long time. I already told him, bro. I'm not giving him no dubs before 18. I'm not giving him none after. If he gets a dub, we're going to have to win it. You're going to have to earn it.
Love it. Don't nothing come. That a kid that age should not be able to beat his dad like that. No way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Grown man strength.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to that dad for getting this kid the proper training, though.
Yeah.
Definitely that. He's going to definitely have some success in basketball. Hopefully, I'm going to show Kid Kool-Aid this, man. Provoke him. He got the shot. We working on them handles. He's pretty decent now.
Nice.
That's what's up. Here we go. That's what's up. And finally, I will end what's trending with this. This past championship weekend, you didn't have Texas mascot, Longhorn mascot Bevo on the field, nor did you have Georgia's as well, too. And this is why you shouldn't have pets in sports arenas.
Oh, no. Is it what I go think?
The corgi dropped a turd.
The dismount.
I was like, did I just see? Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I saw.
The corgi dropped a turd on the middle of the court.
Oh, I thought there was a hump session going on. No, like look at the two dogs at the end. I thought they were.
Wait, did we miss that too then? You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Somebody's feeling a little frisky, KG.
Yeah, man.
$24.99 found that one.
He was trying to satisfy that like button.
Shout out to them, man. Loyal chat members.
Yes.
Goodness gracious, dog.
Unbelievable. Like I said, you shouldn't have pets on the court there. But that's it
Mike
for what's
G
trending,
asked,
you guys.
who let the dogs out? Hey, and baby, did you get that video, that last video I sent over?
I think I did.
It says Chris Paul mix.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Yeah, we'll let the people hear it, man. It's part of that story yesterday. It's a pretty cool story. We'll let them hear it. And they can relish in once a long time ago when we weren't much, we at least had this victory over the now Commanders, the then Redskins.
Love it.
Let's hear from our friends from Feldman. We'll get into our Feldman Mailbag segment, get those questions in, and get your worst coaches in just Detroit sports and the state of Michigan college sports history.
Yes. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, and we are back. And remember I told you guys, worked in media for some time. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had. Shout out to my publicist, Micheline Bowman, out in D.C. She works for Fox 5 D.C. And it got me a pretty cool opportunity with Tom Joyner Morning Show and working with a comedian by the name of Chris Paul and Huggy Lowdown, who did a lot of content for Tom Joyner Morning Show. A lot. Like holidays, we did songs. And so I'm going to start playing, like during the holidays, some of those songs we did because they were nationally syndicated across all Tom Joyner Morning Show, like all markets. The Red Wing stuff they kept to that district, but it was cool because with this particular song, it was the first time they let me on there, and it was because of a bet. The Lions were trash, but it didn't matter. I was like, look, if they win, y'all going to have to put me on one of these songs. So they won, and this was that song. So you'll hear them talking about, dang, how can we lose to the Lions? Like, they weren't supposed to win. But when they did, they were like, you know what, we got you. And then friends and family and such were like, bro, we hear you on the radio. I was like, I didn't even know it was going to be that. But it was a pretty cool situation for a young kid at the time trying to find his way in the media world. You got that thing?
Yep.
Let's rock.
Man, how could we lose to the Detroit Lions?
Come on, man. It's only 3 games into the season,
I don't
man.
No more excuses,
Come on, man. We can turn this whole thing around.
I got a headache. You know what? I gotta get out of here.
Come on,
I gotta
Chris.
go for a drive.
Where you going?
No, I'll be back.
Where you gonna go?
I gotta go for a drive right now.
Come on, what about your kids?
I'll hit you later.
It was Sunday afternoon and I'm in my living room. Played a hot wing, side salad, cold brew, and a fella's on the tube and I'm loud, not silent. Ready for my skins to whoop up the Lions. So they kick it off. At first we played them tough. We got it to the one, then it started getting rough. Fourth and one, they stopped. Clinton Porter's like, bam! My boy called up, Chris, what the fuck was that? Lions take the ball in, drive it 99. Skins fans, we all knew it was panic time. And by halftime, it was 13-0. Our offense and our defense were playing like some shit. In the second half, Redskins fought back. Too little, too late. In the end, we fell flat. Detroit hadn't won a game in years. Now our losing streak is longer than theirs, and I shed some tears.
If we lose to the Bucks, FedEx Field is going to boom. That's not what we want to do, Redskins. If we lose to the Bucks, FedEx Field is going to boom. Me too.
When you play in Washington, you're always under pressure. The great teams of the past.
Yeah, and I see Darren Trent. He was asking, he was like, what is
What's
this?
up?
And I look, that was from my time when I was working with Tom Jones Morning Show. And I got an opportunity to say, you know what? Detroit got me one, man.
Yeah.
They weren't winning me too many. They weren't winning anybody bets back then.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't bet on games, but at least for that, not money, but at least for that one, I was like, look, bro, put me on the next hook of the next song. And that's what that was. And it was cool the way they catered their first verse towards, having to deal with the loss to the Lions. So it was cool, man, early on in the career. It influenced a lot of the things that we did and that we're going to do here at Woodward Sports as well. But wanted to be able to at least play that, man, putting on for Detroit for a long time, just as I know everybody else here on this show and you guys also in the chat family, man. It was cool. But let's get into the Feldman Mailbag.
Yeah, real quick, though. Jim Zorn was once the head coach of Washington.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what that reminded me of. Like, is that Jim Zorn? But yeah, shout out to. I remember that game. It was the Lions' first win of 2009 after they went winless. Yep. So congratulations. That was a very, very catchy. And shout out Ludacris as well.
Hey, you know what? Dante151 Feldman Mailbag. Everyone, did you guys forget how bad? Steve Mariucci, hometown Steve Mariucci was as the Lions head coach. Also, the Cowboys player who pulled a Leon Lett last night was former Lions player Amon-Ra.
Damn. Man, you hate to see it. And Steve Mariucci, I thought he was going to work.
Everybody did.
We wanted him.
He was an offense.
He was a winning coach before that.
He was.
Where's he from? Is it Iron Mountain that he's from, or is that Izzo? I know one of those guys. They're both from like some upstate areas. But,
I'd have to look that up.
I wanted him to really, really work out. That is a good one because I feel like all of us, who wants to say his name as one of the worst head coaches, but realistically, that did not work out at all.
Only to be topped by Marty Morningwig. So before him, so
they're both from Iron Mountain.
They're both from Iron Mountain. Hey, dope. Man, and you know what? Were there any other head coaches, man, that deserve some? You know who? What that deserves some notices?
What?
Freddie Felton named one that's probably honestly takes the cake. Dick Vitale.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about Dick Vitale.
Well,
Doug Collins.
Well, I mean, Dick Vitale had the worst record, I believe, until Monty Williams.
Yeah,
I believe so. Man, that's an interesting one. And you said who?
Doug Collins. Coached the Pistons in the 90s after the Bad Boys run. I believe he did.
I thought he had some decent.
Did he?
Well, it was during that kind of Grant Hill. Yeah. I felt like they underperformed.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
They underperformed then.
I don't know. For me, I'm always, now that we've added college to that, Tommy Amaker ruined my love of Michigan basketball.
Yeah, it was bad.
They had some really talented teams. Hey, real OGs remember about Courtney Sims and Brent Petway and Daniel Horton that winning the freaking NIT but never making the tournament. So many late season collapses where you thought, is this going to be the year that they do it? And then we'd be seeing them in that damn NIT.
Hey, you know what? As we look ahead to the Bills game, man, here's a question for you guys, especially since I know later part of the week we won't have as much of your analysis on the game. But when you look at this game here between the Lions and the Bills, I know there was a lot of people who they wanted to be able to bury the Lions because of their injuries or believe that they were going to falter. I just don't think that's going to happen. But what's one particular kind of strength that you believe the Lions are going to be able to exploit against the Bills?
I would say running game, honestly. You saw Kyron Williams go off. I mean, honestly, even just more than the running game, that game was obviously awesome, the Rams and Buffalo Bills, and I was watching with a keen interest in what Josh Allen was going to do. But when I was watching the Rams offense go up and down the field, I was salivating because this Buffalo Bills defense had been playing really, really well, but they seem to be a lot more gettable. And I think the running offense with the Lions is going to have a field day.
Yeah.
What about you, KG?
How did we forget Juwan real quick?
I just saw that in the chat.
Yeah,
talk
Juwan
about
is
somebody
up there.
we all wanted to forget.
Yeah. I wanted him to succeed so bad. But
he had some great days at Michigan. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Anyway, but no, I totally agree with Flannel. It is through running the football because you need to play keep away from Josh Allen. And that's one thing the Lions do well that they continue to dominate is time of possession. That is the Lions' greatest strength in terms of offense, and they need to be able to attack this Bills defense in long methodical drives. And I think if you do that, you limit Josh Allen's possessions and you're going to come out of there with a victory.
That's what I love about the Detroit Lions. And honestly, their decisions to go for it on fourth down.
Yeah.
I'm hoping against the Bills, their offense is aggressive and looks to really just take them apart. I want them thinking. That's my thing. I believe psychologically, if you're able to go in there and dictate your will on offense, I believe that you will have their entire team really, really thinking. And it puts Josh Allen in a position where I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but then he has to really, really play hero ball. I want to take his legs out of this.
Yeah.
That's where I believe if the offense can get ahead, maybe we have them think a little bit more about if they're passing it down the field or if he wants to decide to pick up and run with his feet.
Yep, got to get the lead on the Bills. That's for sure. Got to keep the ball away from Josh Allen as much as you possibly can. So KG, I'm glad you added the time of possession element to that.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a good one. JB Smooth, what about you, Mr. Voice of Reason? What's kind of your X factor for this win or an area of strength or a strategy for the Detroit Lions?
I think you guys are spot on. It's the time of possession and it's running the football. The less time you give to Josh Allen helps you out in the long run. I mean, you just seen him sit here, pass for over 300 yards, damn near rush for over 100 and 6 touchdowns. Like, I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if he can pull that off again this week. I'm just saying, if I did something like that the next week, I'm going to be tired. I don't think I can do this that same time again as well, too. Just the simple fact that he's going to have to try and sit here and play hero ball as well. Like, I want to see this defense crash out on this mobile quarterback. So,
yeah, Steve Wild says use Jamal Adams as a spy, and I like that. What I'm hoping, and I'm going to continue to say it, we want pressures, but at the very least, I want quarterback hits. If you're not getting a sack, Josh Allen has to know. He has to be thinking every single time he's taking off or every time he's sitting in the pocket. Yeah. You know what? These guys, they bring the boom. And we've seen the Detroit Lions have success in that in areas where, honestly, their defense, even though it's not at full strength, it seems like they have a way through the physicality and aggression they play with to pull other teams' offenses down to the same level. And that's where I'm like, you know what? They can continue that. You got a guy like Jamal Adams who's just like see quarterback, hit quarterback with mean ferocity. I'm just like, you know what? Maybe that's part of the game plan for the Detroit Lions here. Maybe. But let me see here. There's a couple Feldman Mailbags. DNC ENT. Feldman Mailbag. Last week we hit the under on Detroit wins. 2. The Knicks and the Packers. This week we have the Bills, the Sabres, the Flyers, the Maple Leafs, and the Celtics. Over under 2.5. We already are 1-0.
Over. Already 1-0.
Definitely now.
I want to see. I think the Wings will get one and the Lions will get one.
Yeah. And I want to see the Pistons go out there and really take this Celtics matchup personal. Let me see here. Tommy K. Mailbag. If AG leaves this offseason, who would you want as the new DC? I don't even want to think about that.
I don't.
Robert Saleh?
No,
that's what I was thinking too.
Stay in house. Terrell Williams or Kelvin Shepard.
Okay.
Look at you. See how he's angling?
I'm trying to get a job, man. Help a brother get a job, man.
Mitten May said Calvin Shepard as well. Scuba, great point. Great points, guys. Let me see here. There was, I thought, one more. Eric Allen with Allen. just did was historic. He's not doing that if we're getting back who we're expecting to get back on the D-line. We will force the refs to throw a couple of holding call penalties. And you know what?
I agree.
It's interesting what the Detroit Lions have done this year without getting a lot of, like, as much as we see our secondary flag for pass interference, the Lions aren't getting the benefit of those types of calls. They're not getting the benefits too much of, like, we see them being held and the ref is going to call that. And so it's like for them to still go out there against even that adversity. We're in an era of Detroit Lions football where even the referees aren't taking it from us. We saw them take it from us last year. And people cried, right? No class. You run up the score and trying to embarrass them. We kept it close last year, and what happened? Got kicked in the nuts.
Oh, yeah.
This year, it's just like, we're not going to wait to get kicked in the nuts. We're just stomping everybody else in the nuts. Stomping you. I'm not waiting.
Stomp 'em in the
I'm not
nuts.
waiting. Why wait?
Stomp 'em in the nuts.
Why wait? We've seen this, man. This league, you telling me this league going to prop us up before they prop up a big market? So if you don't go out there and make yourself one of those squads that everybody has to talk to for better or worse, you know, people crying about us right now, but everyone's talking. That makes us attractive.
Yeah.
So now the league got to deal with us. We've made them have to deal with us. That's Brad, Dan, Sheila, those players. And that's an awesome feeling as a Detroit Lions fan right now.
Absolutely.
Sheesh, let me see here. Anything else? That with Therese. AG to the Raiders? You know, if it's to send us set up that Max Crosby trade.
Right.
That'd be fair.
Yeah, it's like that.
And you know what? I forgot who said it, but somebody said we cannot forget in this conversation of worst coaches, the great Mel Tucker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spartans legend, huh, JB Smooth?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can't forget about Mel Tucker. That is one of the worst moves as well, too. But shout out to Bitcon51. I seen his post that he put in here in the chat as well, too. One of the worst moves MSU has made. Not only Mel Tucker, but letting Nick Saban walk.
That is
Just
crazy
to
that he
Nick
started
Saban.
MSU.
Yeah.
And
For
that's
the
kind of
Spartan
like
for all those
GM
years.
type stuff, program building. Tomorrow, that's going to be our question throughout the show. Some of your worst GMs.
Oh, it's a lot.
And program builders. We'll add coaches, ADs into that mix as well for college. That's going to be an interesting one because as much success as we've had as a quote-unquote small market team, we have seen some bad years.
Yes.
Something tells me the Pistons might have a few people to have some mentions tomorrow. But I think that's a show.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to our brother Matthew Broder and that dude Justin. Keep holding it down on Woodward and Maine with the legendary Foster Matthew Broder and that dude Justin for everything you do in the show. I know that he will be back in town for a couple weeks here Thursday, I believe.
All
so
right.
we'll have him back in town for a couple weeks and back
Shout
on the
out.
show. We have some guests lined up as well. Some of our WUW Crew extended family members from High Def Steph to Summer. You guys, I guess they call her Summer Breeze now. Who and more who are going to continue to stop by and just say what up, though, and be a part of the WUW Crew. I know we got the legend on tomorrow, Rod Beard.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be dope to have him. But shout out to Cavassier. Chase, what up, though, brother?
Hey, what up, though? How's it going, everybody?
It's going good, man. Hey, give your last words to the people before the show ends.
You guys know where we'll be all day. 11 to 1, Big D. We got Ermanni numbers 2 to 4, and the heavyweights end the day 5 to 7. So stay tapped in. Got a bunch of shows for you guys to rock with all throughout the day, and then get on down to second best on Sunday for the Lions pregame. Got the Bills 4 o'clock. So hopefully see you guys some of you guys down there.
Hey, let's rock, man. This elite booth in the sound booth. We got Detroit's #1 draft pick, KG, aka Black Hollywood. What up, though?
Y'all know what it is, man. It's a pleasure to do this shit with y'all each and every day. Thursday and Friday, me and your boy Kool-Aid gonna be on the desk too. So looking forward to that, man. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Of course, we appreciate y'all's support, the love, the hate, all of it. We embrace all of it, man. And shout out to my team here. Let's keep this shit rolling, bro.
Hey, let's keep it rolling. Over to the Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. It's a Tuesday, man.
Jumbo!
How appropriate.
Jumbo!
In the TD booth is JB Smooth. What up, though, MVP?
The heavies. Yo, shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to you guys once again as well, too. Shout out for Russ being here. Everybody, that's
heaviest of
Russ
TDs.
over there in the chair. And also, shout out to Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year, Caitlin Clark.
Oh,
KG,
wow.
stop hating over there.
Ain't nobody hating. Congratulations first.
Shout out to her.
But shout out to Caitlin Clark as well, too, for getting that Athlete of the Year.
Shout out to Caitlin Clark, man. She dealt with a lot of noise, dealt with a lot of physicality.
Right. Maybe
And,
she can earn her way up like everybody else now. So,
Hey, we
now
saw-
that first year bullshit is out the way. So
We see a lot of players have to do it. If any Detroit Pistons fan who's a fan of Cade Cunningham doesn't hold her to the same. Saying, hey, look, earn your right.
Yeah.
We see the Pistons run out of. K has to earn that. They're saying, look, you get your team to play in positioning, then we'll give you All-Star. I like that, man.
Yeah.
Make these guys really, really fight. And it puts the onus on the owners to say, you know what? Don't waste the talent of these young guys. Don't waste their talent. Not at all. Hey, you know what? The Veteran Squad, Veteran Network, that's Flannel Sam, Red Wings correspondent. He got to open up with some Red Wings talk because they actually won. And you know what? All sports snore. What up, though, brother?
Hey, Michigan basketball back in action tonight, playing Arkansas, the John Calipari-led Arkansas Razorbacks. Please, Michigan, hand that overrated coach a L. One championship with all that talent at Kentucky. Yeah, no, that's another one of me and Neil Rule's big disagreements. He's a Calipari nut hugger for sure, and I'm the correct one.
I just wouldn't say he's overrated because of how much talent he's put in the league. He's put a lot of talent.
That's
in the
fair.
NBA, but that's my only argument. That's my only argument. Everything else is valid.
It's like as a development coach, hey, definitely. But as it relates to the overall greatness, I get the argument.
One championship with all that talent.
Hold on. Easy in the chat. Jason Whitlock compared Caitlin Clark to Jackie Robinson.
What?
I ain't gonna do all
come
that.
on, dog.
That definitely.
Like what?
That happened a while ago, actually.
And it makes sense because it's Jason fucking Whitlock. But continue. I just wanted to put that in the ethos.
I ain't gonna put her in that mix, but you know.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's chill with that.
Jason Whitlock saying that is just it's so on brand. It's so on brand.
Dog, come on, dog.
That boy is cooning if I ever seen it.
I feel like Kane, dog. Like, get him out.
Right. That boy is big coon. Big time coon.
You know, shout out to them too, K, Ashton, Cannon, all those guys.
Yeah, shout out,
Coach
man.
Jay.
They've been tapped in. Shout out, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, definitely. It's your boy Brandon Day, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Have a blessed day, everybody. Thank you for staying tapped in with Wake Up Woodward. Make sure you stay checked in with the rest of Woodward Sports. You know what? We got some other programming that's going to be in the way soon, man. But continue to support. Hit that like button if you haven't gotten an opportunity to. It goes a long way for the WUW Crew. Thank you, guys. Have a day.